step into the day with the dawn ringing in my ears. Oh, well, I tune into my TV show. No better way, I gotta get myself into gear. Let's go. Oh, and I feel good today with my wake up in the morning espresso. I feel good today. It's my feel good breakfast show.
Very good morning to you, and thank you very much for tuning in. This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show Expresso right here on SABC3. It's your Tuesday morning. Good morning.
Tuesday.
Well, lovely to hang out with you guys once again. Looking fabulous as always. Yeah, no, it's a great one, man.
Today.
Listen, yeah, look at that, man. Look at t-shirts.
Yeah,
It's definitely getting more and more casual, and the colors are getting lighter and lighter. You can tell what season we're embarking on.
Moving. Spring is here. I've been seeing on social media, everyone is like, spring, you can come now already.
Yeah.
We've been waiting. We've been waiting. But listen, it's a Tuesday. Your Monday is gone. We've cracked the week now. It's just plain sailing, hopefully, from here on out. And we've got a great little breakfast basket packed for you this morning.
That's right. And speaking of fashion, there's a wonderful African style company that's making beautiful head wraps for cancer patients. I mean, globally, we've seen the figures of teenage girls diagnosed with cancer increasing dramatically. So it's beautiful that they have beautiful wraps to, just add some style during this difficult time.
Absolutely, and just make them feel good, which is amazing, make them look good as well. And then also, I mean, I've tried pretty much every single kind of exercise form out there, and I love it. I love to explore, I love to experience, but never in my life have I come across calisthenics.
Ooh,
all right?
Calisthenics.
Yeah, it's like a gymnastic form, a rhythmic workout, art form. I don't know how to call it, but we have Stefan Geldenhuys with us in studio. He's a SA champion, and he's going to put me through my paces this morning. I'm looking forward to that.
I'm glad you're doing that and not, not something I think I want to be doing.
Well, it's also Tuesday, which means we need music. Early B joins us. His debut album, Aangename Kennis, has launched, and of course, we will be introducing you to him to us.
Yeah, well, on that music note, you know what Tuesdays are all about. More music. It's Tuesday Tunes with Katlego. He's going to be performing. You get 3 options of songs for him to choose one from, and he'll perform it live and direct here on the Expresso Show.
I like that, man. Kicking your feel-good note up a notch this morning. It is your Tuesday. Stay right where you are. Go make yourself a cup of coffee as we get into the news headlines with the beautiful Leanne. Good morning, Leanne.
Good morning, you, and good morning, team, and good morning to you at home. Here's what's happening in the news. In the national news, hailed by Deputy President David Mabuza as a watershed moment yesterday, 4 presidents of the Organised Agriculture signed a statement of intent to develop a national strategy focusing on the transformation of the sector. The organisations are the African Farmers Association of South Africa, the National African Farmers Union of South Africa, Agri-SA, and the Transvaal Agricultural Union of South Africa. They said that they have noted the parliamentary process on expropriation without compensation and are all participating in the process. Energy Minister Jeff Radebe released the draft Integrated Resources Plan yesterday, which envisages gas making up of 16% of the country's energy mix by 2030. It will then be the 2nd largest source of energy. There will be no increase in the use of nuclear energy until 2030, with only 2.5% of the electricity coming from nuclear power generated at Koeberg. While renewable energy sources will take center stage over the next 12 years, Radebe says there are no plans to reduce the country's reliance on coal. Now moving further abroad, Ugandan singer turned politician Robert Kyagulanyi, better known as Bobby Wine, was released on bail yesterday after a fortnight in detention. Now he and 33 others, including 2 fellow serving MPs, are facing treason charges in a case that has triggered an international outcry. They were arrested after stones were thrown at President Yoweri Museveni's convoy, breaking a car window as he visited the town of Arua to support the ruling party candidate during a by-election. The defendants are due in court again on Thursday. And then finally, a UN report released yesterday says top military figures in Myanmar must be investigated for genocide in Rakhine State and crimes against humanity in other areas. The report, based on hundreds of interviews, is the strongest condemnation from the UN so far of violence against Rohingya Muslims. It sharply criticizes Myanmar's de facto leader, Nobel Peace Prize laureate Aung San Suu Kyi, for failing to intervene to halt attacks. It calls for the case to be referred to the International Criminal Court. Myanmar has rejected the report. Well, that was your 6 o'clock news update. Let's get our very first taste of what's happening in the world of sport. Ewan has the details.
Thank you so much, Leanne. Let's quickly take a first look at what's happening in the world of sport. Starting off with rugby, the Springboks 32-19 loss to Argentina this past weekend has seen the team drop down to 7th on the latest World Rugby rankings. It was only the Boks' third loss to Argentina in 28 previous matches, but the disappointing defeat was enough to see the team replaced in 6th place by Scotland. The Boks are back in Rugby Championship action this Saturday as they face Australia in Brisbane. And in tennis news, South Africa's Kevin Anderson survived a round 1 scare at the US Open this morning as he beat American Ryan Harrison by 3 sets to 2. With Harrison leading the match by 2 sets to 1, Anderson managed to stage a fight back to see out the victory, which takes him into the second round. South Africa's other US Open competitor, Lloyd Harris, was knocked out in the first round after a 3-love loss to Giles Simon. And in cricket news, Cricket South Africa has released the fixture list for the 2018-2019 domestic season, which has dates scheduled for the One-Day Cup, T20 Challenge, a 4-day Test Series and the pending T20 League. With the unnamed T20 League expected to take place in December, the 4-day Test Series gets underway on the 26th of September as the Titans host the Dolphins. The One-Day Cup gets going on February 8th next year, while the T20 Challenge gets underway in April. And in soccer news, Manchester United fell to their biggest home defeat under Jose Mourinho last night as they lost 3-0 to Tottenham Hotspur in the Premier League. Now, with the match goalless at halftime, Spurs sprung to life in the second 45 as goals from Harry Kane and Lucas Moura maintained their unbeaten start to the season. The Premier League is back this weekend, though, as Man United tackle Burnley, Spurs face Watford, while Manchester City host Newcastle. That's where we leave your sport for now. I'll bring you those headlines once again in half an hour's time.
It's time to get that first look at your weather for the day, and we've asked you to send us your stunning sunrise pictures. We've received one from Kasim Collins, who sent us this shot of a beautiful mountain top in Worcester. Check out the snow. It is absolutely unbelievable. Worcester can expect a cloudy day with a maximum of 18 degrees. Share your morning view with us by heading off to our Facebook page and putting your picture on there. And look at the temperatures right now. Polokwane starts off at 6 with a maximum of 22. Mbombela 9 and 19. It's sunny in Pretoria today at 7 and 22. In Johannesburg 5 and 20. Mahikeng 7 and 23. Sunny Klerksdorp is at 3 and 21. Kimberley a minimum of 4 and a maximum of 19. Bloemfontein 0 ending off at a high of 18. Richards Bay 11 and 23. Pietermaritzburg 5 and 20. Durban is sunny today with 13 and a high of 22. Mthatha 4 and 20. East London 10 and 21. Cradock 1 and 19. PE starts off at 10, hitting a maximum of 19. George 9 and 18. Sutherland 1 and 14. The Mother City today starts off at 11 with a maximum of 16. Worcester 3 and 18. Springbok is sunny at 7 and 20, with Appington at a minimum of 5 and a maximum of 20. That's your report for 6 o'clock. The next report around 6:30.
Well, we live in a world that is constantly changing and life seems to be getting faster by the day. So as we welcome today, the 28th of August, let's take a look at what happened in history on this day.
Well, we're going back all the way to the 1850s when George Bizzell and Edwin L. Drake made the first successful use of a drilling rig on a well and drilled especially to produce oil in Pennsylvania in the USA and on what is often referred to as the first commercial oil well.
Well, there's something interesting. Now, also on this day back in 1898, pharmacist Caleb Bradham's soda, originally known as Brad's drink, was renamed Pepsi Cola.
Very interesting. And also a day that I think many people will not forget. In fact, it is 1963, on August 28th, civil rights icon Martin Luther King gave his famous I Have a Dream speech, in which he called for an end to racism in front of over 250,000 supporters, and that's from the steps of the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C.
Well, there you have it. That is our bite-sized dose of what happened on this day in history. So seize the day and make it one for the books.
All right, well, we're going to be taking a very quick break. The first one of your Tuesday is officially now underway and still lots heading your way. I don't know, have you been into gaming when you were a youngster? You know, remember the old Nintendo consoles?
I must say, I haven't been into gaming, but I've seen my cousins play that
Yeah,
Nintendo.
with those cartridges that you slot in on the top. You know, that brings back a lot of memories. But now, Nintendo has launched the NES, the Nintendo NES Classic, taking us back to yesterday, and you can play all of those favorites of yours all over again. It's absolutely amazing. Gareth Woods will be in studio to talk about it.
That sounds really, really
amazing, man. You'll see.
Well, these two designers in South Africa have teamed up and they've come up with African-style headgear or head wraps for cancer patients. That's going to be something to talk about and to look at. It's going to be a feel-good morning thing to see. So stay with us on your Feel Good Expresso show. Princess, coffee, please.
No one's captain? You was just there.
Oh, for you. Cool. Oh, no.
Who was your captain?
Aguero, but he was my vice.
Sorry to hear that, man. We were terrible.
Yes, but how hectic is Lucas?
We are terrible.
Lucas.
I took him out.
Oh, my Lord.
Line 6. That was supposed to be for
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's Expresso right here on SABC3. Time for us to head to the socials. Well, you know what, Tuesday, it's a lot of stuff. We travel, we see what trends, but we also do tunes. And today is Tuesday Tunes. Now, we want to know from you on social media, which song should Kat perform? We've got 3 options for you. There's Fix You from Coldplay, there's The Crossing from Johnny Clegg, or there is Ocean Drive by Duke Dumont. All you have to do is vote for your favorite one, and who knows, he could be performing that. Actually not, he will be performing the favorite one by the end of the show. So let us know. Fix You by Coldplay, The Crossing by Johnny Clegg, or Ocean Drive by Duke Dumont. Also time for us to do gaming on a Tuesday. Now, Ewan and our gaming guru, Gareth Woods, are back at it again, and this time they review the Nintendo NES Mini.
Well, it's that time of the week again. Gareth Woods in studio, and today we are taking a trip on the nostalgia train with the Nintendo NES Mini. Gareth, what have you brought for us, my man?
Hitting you straight in the nostalgias.
Look, I've heard about this. I've never seen it. I mean, there was a big thing about it being launched And I'm glad we're finally playing it because this literally takes me back to my childhood years of going for sleepovers with friends at primary school, and sitting down and sneaking out at night when the parents are sleeping.
I think we're giving away our age here.
Oh, it's brilliant. 1983, man.
Yeah, that's when this came out.
Oh, that's amazing. All right, dude, so give me the spin on this, man. The NES Mini.
So, I mean, if you can see, I'm not sure on camera if you can see it, it's designed exactly the way the original was.
Brilliant.
Much smaller. I don't remember the previous one was about the size of a small pizza. This one, I mean, you can probably fit into your pocket if you have big enough pockets.
Yeah.
It's USB powered, which is crazy. I mean, yesterday I was playing it off my laptop.
Wow.
So powered off my laptop, plugged into my laptop, and there I'm jamming. Classic controller, everything's the same. Yeah. It's HDMI, and so you can
not wireless.
Yeah, so you can classic. So you can play into an HD TV like we are doing now.
Yeah.
And you know, it's also got a save feature, which is one of the things we're always missing in those games. You have to play for hours, and if you want to play a different game, you're like, nope, we're playing this one till we finish it. If you just reset, you go into the menus, here's your other...
Well, now see, that is different.
Yeah. So this is a little bit of an improvement.
So talk me through it. There's 30 classic games.
Yeah, I mean, it's all the classics. So Mario Brothers and Mega Man, and you got Metroid, Ninja Gaiden, Pac-Man. Like, absolute classic. You got the Zelda games, all the Super Marios. I mean, we jump into an old classic I was playing last night that certainly you would have lost a couple of friends with this old Ice Climber. Do you remember that one?
Yes.
So you can jump straight into a game of Ice Climber.
And this, listen to
the music. It's so nostalgic, yeah.
Oh, wow. This is crazy how far gaming has come. I mean, we've been talking about all the different consoles, the Switch, which is huge, which I love, by the way.
Yeah.
But this is obviously the first retro console that a Nintendo now released. And initially, it was hard to come by because it sold out very quickly.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people was looking for this.
All the guys going on that nostalgia hype train were like, gimme. You know, now that I can actually, it's all the guys who now have jobs and can afford their own consoles. Don't have to wait for mom or dad to buy it for you. Yeah.
I would love to. What I would love, I would buy it so that I can show my kids. So like, listen, guys, this is what Dad played. This is the real
games. Yeah.
So is it easy to come by nowadays? Can you get your hands on this?
I think stock is a little bit more improved now that I guess the initial hype has died down.
Yeah.
Because as you said, when it first came out, it was almost impossible to get hold of one. Just as difficult as I remember this game.
Yeah, look at him crying over there. Look, man, I think this is great, taking us on a bit of an... Even Bob joins us. I mean, how's Bob?
What's up?
Very interested. So what's some of your favorites here? If you had to take a trip down memory lane...
Don't make me choose. I mean, half these games I have tattooed on my arm. I've got Mario, I've got Mega Man, like all my favorites are here.
Yeah.
And to be honest, some of them that I never actually got to try, they're obviously big games, but I guess
Punch-Out as well. Gareth, thank you very much, man, enticing our appetites once again for that old world charm, I can almost say. It's absolutely brilliant. The NES Mini from Nintendo. Let me know on our Facebook page, social media, #Expresso Show, what do you think about this one? Is this something that takes you back, and is this something that you would like to get your hands on if you haven't gotten it already?
It certainly feels like a throwback Thursday already, doesn't it?
I was like, do.
Reminds me of
Making
all
sound
those
effects.
wonderful TV games we used to play. But anyway, let's reflect on the month. Of course, August is Women's Month in South Africa, and we celebrate in this way because of the historic 20,000 Women March against pass laws to Pretoria Union buildings, which took place on the 9th of August 1956. And in 2018, of course, this is the centenary year for Mam Albertina Sisulu, and she's rightly hailed as a woman of fortitude. So every day this month, we're taking a look at the wise words of iconic South African sheroes to give us all a wholesome inspiration.
That's right. And today's woman of fortitude is none other than the Madonna of the townships. She was also known as the Queen of African Pop. I'm talking about anti-apartheid Afro-pop singer Brenda Fassie. So we're going to quote her. I had to do that. I had to. And she said, "I've never dreamt that I'd become what I am today. I've just always believed that I would be what I am today. I don't dream of things. I think of things. I plan these things."
I plan these things. Success is not a mistake, eh? You
not
plan
a mistake.
these kind of
It's one
things.
thing to dream it, but it's another thing to actually put steps in place and to actually achieve all these smaller milestones to reach that dream.
Absolutely. Draw some inspiration from that on this Tuesday morning. They say you strike a woman and you strike a rock, and we support the role and changes and valuable contributions South African women have made and continue to make in our beautiful nation. Happy Women's Month.
Now, we keep into the month of Women's Month, the month of August, and amongst those who are, I suppose, a big topical thing to talk about during the month of August are the many young women who are diagnosed with cancer worldwide. The number of teenage girls being diagnosed has increased over the last couple of years. Amongst those who are helping them go through this a little bit easier are fashion houses, two in particular in South Africa who've teamed up and are making the treatment of these girls go through cancer a little bit easier by lifting spirits. They've decided to design South African or African-inspired head wraps. Check this out.
This August, the African Style Story team and renowned head wrap maker Amara Grace visited Baragwanath Hospital and turned the cancer ward into a catwalk.
The collaboration between African Style Story and Amara Grace came about that we decided that we really want to give back to the society. So we contacted Baragwanath Hospital to find out how we can get involved. Amara Grace especially focuses on head wraps, so it's ideal to hand it out to girls going through chemo. These head wraps that we're handing out today is unique because they're specially designed and manufactured for people going through cancer and through chemo especially. The material that we use is bamboo material, so it's hypoallergenic, it's breathable, so it's really perfect for people with sensitive skin and hair. And regarding the patterns and the designs, it's especially for this campaign and for the girls that we handed it out to today.
I think the head wraps is a wonderful initiative. We have a large number of teenage girls whom we are treating. And as we know, in the adolescent years, girls are very concerned about how do they look, the impression that they give to the outside world. And unfortunately, the diagnosis of cancer and its treatment erodes them of that confidence. They no longer feel as beautiful as they did, they lose their hair, they may have skin color changes. And this initiative, because it focuses on them, it makes them feel that they are beautiful. It gives them hope for the future, that they will be cured. So that's the first thing. The second thing, I think it raises awareness of childhood cancer. And we in South Africa are still missing many cases of childhood cancer. So I think it's not just about girls feeling good about themselves. It's many other multi-layered factors that come into it.
What motivated me to take part in this initiative with African Style Story and Amara Grace Wrap is that my mom died of cancer a few years ago, of pancreatic cancer. I've seen what cancer can do. It ravages the entire family. And so when Carla came through with the whole idea of me walking Fashion Week, and then we designed a dress and we designed these wraps to Amara Grace, it was a no-brainer for me because it's something that's very close to my heart. And I think children also are very close to my heart. So when I just see them happy, it makes me happy. I really believe as people who have a platform to speak out about things, we need to take a stand about important things in our country and in society. So I hope this initiative goes further than today. And I think the more we do, the more gets done for cancer research in this country. What do I think of the head wraps? I love them. It is so easy to put on, and also it's stylish as well, and they're beautiful to have. I think the material is great. So thinking about the patients themselves, it's very soft on the skin. It's easy to put on when they're going through their chemo and radiation and those things. So I think Amara Grace did a really good job with the concept, and I'd like to see more of these kids have them on.
This campaign's name is Heads Up. We want them to always have their heads up no matter what, no matter challenge you face in life. So this is today, actually, it's a celebration day. It was amazing, it was overwhelming. The work that it's been done here, it's amazing. The girls were so happy and we couldn't be more thrilled.
The South African public can support the initiative by going onto our Facebook and Instagram handles. So for Amara Grace, it's at Amara Grace Official, and for African Style Story, it's at African Style Story.
We're going to have the head wrap plus the wrap dress that Tembisa Mdoda worked for African Style Story show at SA Fashion Week, available for purchase at Lux, the online platform, and 10% will revert to Cancer, so the Cancer Association of South Africa.
A little style goes a long way to letting these beautiful young ladies feel more like themselves and know that they are not walking this road alone.
Very inspirational story indeed. Now this man right here hanging about our studio is Stanley Geldnys, a South African calisthenics champion, and he's going to be doing a bit of a demo as to what we can expect a little bit later on. And I also do sincerely hope that he will not make me do that, because that will be rather interesting.
Absolutely amazing. And then we're bringing you incredible music on your Feel Good Breakfast show. It's early, so it's perfect that we have Early B in studio, and we get to know him a little bit better after the break.
Instant hot chocolate? Of course, it's possible with Clover Super M when you hashtag try it hot this winter. Keeping the cast of Expresso smiling right through the chilly winter months, warmed up Super M is the simplest hot chocolate option when all you need to do is pour, heat and enjoy. So, hashtag try it hot with Clover Super M and catch the Expresso presenters putting their own twist on this cup of deliciousness made with love by Clover.
Ja. Assim. Net so klein bietjie af op die mic vir my aan sit, alright? Ja. Okay. Ja. Die dag my bra gaan visit. Die sekkertjie wat ek lank klas gedruk het. Ek roep op soos ek die klok gedruk het. Maak haar maar die deur oop en sy kom net binne. Sy gee my 'n druk, sy vyf my rug oor. Sy sê wie wat ek het nou gemis so. Staan confused en ek check hoe jy nou weer die antivirus is want ek is vir haar kind nou. Toe sê sy gaan goed juice kry. Klein bietjie af op die mic net gasie. Hey, stranger, how you? Hey, I moved up to Joburg, studying at UJ. Oh, my father. Hoe maak ek nou? Van die antie lyk so, sy's maak 'n bou. Sy's lekker reg, but it's unethical. En as ek met haar vry word, ek so gelabel as 'n benten. Ja, benten. Die antie soek 'n benten. Sy soek 'n benten. Benten. Die antie soek 'n benten. Sy soek 'n benten.
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso, right here on SABC 3. It's your Tuesday morning. Thank you very much for tuning in. Now, this man standing next to me right now, his name is Stanley Geldnys. He's a South African calisthenics champion, and he's been representing the sport all over the world. He's been doing phenomenal work. We have him here this morning because we just love featuring different and interesting guests on our show to inspire you maybe to reach your fitness goals. Stanley, my friend, so good to have you, man. Thank you very much. I've seen a snippet of what you can do, and you know, it scares the living daylights out of me because I'll probably do it a little bit later on this morning. But I think first and foremost, how did you get into the sport of calisthenics, and what is it essentially all about?
For me personally, calisthenics is just a raw form of gymnastics, but it incorporates a lot of body weight movements, your push-ups, your pull-ups, any type of exercise that you do only using your body weights and your own resistance. Okay. So that's basically what it is for me. Yeah. I would say I started actually as a breakdancer, pretty funny.
Right. You look like a breakdancer. Yeah?
Yeah, I still got a little bit of a style. But I started in 2004 as a breakdancer, and then I relocated. I'm actually from the Free State. So I relocated to Cape Town in 2010, and in 2015 I actually discovered a street workout in calisthenics. Okay. So I met a group, and they were doing all these movements, and so I wanted to get fit for my breakdancing, and I joined them, and I actually did a few workouts with them. It was quite challenging for me. I mean, if you see the pictures of when I started, you know,
I can imagine.
It's pretty, but. So I started and I actually enjoyed, and they said to me, look, there's a competition side to it. And I actually joined the competition in 2015, started prepping for my first competition.
Wow, I mean, this is not years ago, this is recently.
This is recently. So I've only been doing calisthenics actually for about 4 years. So it hasn't been like this long journey, but my breakdancing has really helped me in terms of fear, in terms of adding my own personal style to it.
It comes down to movement, and what I love about it is you use your body to build muscle essentially as well.
Definitely.
And now you became a South African champion, which is amazing. Now I'd love to see a little bit of a demo because you're going to put me through my paces. But I just want to show you something really impressive.
Okay.
I want to show you something really impressive. You ready? You ready for this?
I'm ready.
Watch this.
I'm waiting.
Woo! Did you see that? Did you see that?
That's phenomenal.
Top that, brother.
That's
Top that. Let's see. Let's see.
Let me see what I can do here for you. There you go.
Right. Right. Okay. Listen, I think it's fantastic. Can anyone get into it? I mean, this is something that anybody can do.
This is something that anybody can do. You don't need any fancy equipment. You don't need any gym equipment. You don't even need a gym. All you need is your own personal body weight. There is obviously basics as to all the exercises that we do. So for everything that you'll see me do, there's always a basic exercise where you start. That's it.
Can you show us just a bit more an advanced move? I mean, that was good. That was good.
Yeah.
But something a little bit more advanced, just to entice our viewers a little bit this morning. Eish. Easy. Easy. And he does it with a smile on his face. I mean, wow. That was something else. Give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. That was amazing. Stanley Geldner is talking calisthenics this morning. I'm going to put on my workout clothes a little bit on later on this morning. And we'll do the basics, okay? And we'll get another one. Kat, you keep to give it a try?
Even me, with one arm, Bob, I get in there.
Just get in. Let's go to news headlines. We'll be back with Stanley for more.
Get in there.
In the national news this morning, hailed by Deputy President David Mabuza as a watershed moment yesterday, 4 presidents of the organised agriculture signed a statement of intent to develop a national strategy focusing on the transformation of the sector. Energy Minister Jeff Radebe released the draft Integrated Resources Plan yesterday, which envisages gas making up of 16% of the country's energy mix by 2030. It will then be the second largest source of energy. On the international front, Ugandan singer turned politician Robert Kyagulanyi, better known as Bobby Wine, was released on bail yesterday after a fortnight in detention. Kyagulanyi and 33 others, including 2 fellow serving MPs, are facing treason charges in a case that has triggered an international outcry. And then finally, a UN report released yesterday says top military figures in Myanmar must be investigated for genocide in Rakhine State and crimes against humanity in other areas. The report, based on hundreds of interviews, is the strongest condemnation from the UN so far of violence against Rohingya Muslims. Well, that was your 6:30 news update. I'll have a full bulletin for you at the top of the hour.
We're certainly feeling energized and inspired by Stanley Geldner. Let's take a quick look at the sporting scoreboards right now. The Springboks 32-19 lost to Argentina this past weekend has seen the team drop down to 7th on the latest World Rugby rankings. Meanwhile, South Africa's Kevin Anderson survived a first-round scare at the US Open this morning as he beat American Ryan Harrison by 3-2. Moving over to cricket, South Africa has now released the fixture list for the 2018 and 19 domestic season, which has the dates scheduled for the One-Day Cup, T20 Challenge, 4-day Test Series, and the pending T20 Challenge. And finally, Manchester United fell to their biggest home defeat under Jose Mourinho last night as they lost 3-0 to Tottenham Hotspur in the Premier League. And that's a roundup of the headlines.
All right, let's quickly take a look at what's happening out on the roads for the first time this morning. Starting off in the Western Cape Athlone, there's been an accident on the N2 inbound, and that's before Robert Sobukwe Road. Emergency lane has been blocked as well. So just be aware of that incident. If you're still heading out on the roads this morning, please drive with care.
More than a club, more than an appliance brand. Defy.
Just after 6:30, let's quickly take another look at your weather and your temperatures going into your Tuesday. But before we do so, I think pictures are still streaming in from this weekend's snow. Absolutely beautiful. Check out this one that Alfred Thorpe sent in. And he said, I woke up to a foot of snow after a windy night in the mountains outside Ceres, and it looks breathtaking. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you very much, Alfred. Really appreciate you sharing that photo. We would also still love to see what it looks like in your part of the country. Maybe a beautiful sunrise. Maybe even if there's still some snow. I don't know. Let us know. You can post those pictures on our Facebook page, Expresso Morning Show SABC3. With regards to today's temperatures, let me run you through. Polokwane on 6 minimum, reaching a high of 22. Mbombela 9-19. Pretoria 7-22. Johannesburg 5-20. Mahikeng on 7 minimum, reaching a high of 20. 323. Klerksdorp 321. Kimberley 419. Bloemfontein is 0 this morning, reaching a high of 18. Richards Bay 1123. Pietermaritzburg 520. Durban 1322. Mtata 4 and a high of 20. East London 10 and a high of 21. Craddock 119. Port Elizabeth 10 and a high of 19 degrees. George 918. Sutherland 1 and a high of 14. Cape Town 1116 with some scattered showers expected. Worcester 318. Springbok 720 and Uppington starting off on 5, reaching a high of 20 degrees as well. As a wrap of your weather and your temperatures for the 6:30 bulletin, I'll have another update for you coming in half an hour's time, just after 7.
It's still a very busy morning ahead of us on this Tuesday on your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso. Eddie B is in the building, and if there's one artist you really want to get to know a little bit better, he's the guy.
Certainly. And then also joining us this morning is Dr. Darren Green. And life is super duper stressful, but how to manage your stress well, that is what we're looking at. And the good doc is here to give us some much needed advice. That and a whole lot more still coming up after the break.
Ja, one. Is mooi. Klein beetje op mij. Net een klein beetje, my bro. One. Ja, als hij. Ja. Hey bro, ik nou die dag mijn vraag aan bezit. Die sekentje wat ik lang klaas gedrukt het. Ik rok op zoals ik die klok gedrukt het. Makker maar die deur open en ze kom net binnen. Ze geef mij je druk, ze blijft mij rug. Ze zei wie, wat ik het nou gemist. Staan confused en ik check hoe je nou weer die anti-VX's van ik is voor haar kleine. Ze zegt zich aan gedoes krijg. Ze voor haar dochter een message. Where you Jay, ik krijg een reply. Stranger how you high, I moved up to Joburg. Studying at you Jay, oh my vader. Hoe maak ik nou? Die anti lijkt zoals zij smaken wou. Zij is lekker weg, but it's unethical. En als ik met haar vrij word, ik zo gelijk als ze Benten, yeah, Benten. Die anti zoeken Benten, zij zoeken Benten. Die anti zoeken Benten, zij zoeken Benten. Yeah, a young OG, haar oudste dochter, zij say a young man with energy is what she needs in her life. Zij zoeken Benten, a young OG, haar oudste dochter, zij say a young man with energy is what she needs in her life. Yeah. Die anti bring die juice toe. Zij komt sit langs mij en ik move bro. Begin een sweat van ik check ik ze niet nooit. En die next ding voel ik net de hand op mijn schoen. Ja, wat een man nou raak goed te heaten. Ik wil opstaan en ze zei stay seated. Trek mij aan mijn oor, wat is lekker, you must feel it. Ik was zo mijn lamp, wat zit de pressure point gesqueezed nou. Ik wijs haar aan die is moest weg. Ze zei mij shh, ik ga van niemand zien nie. Jelle weet me zeker zuster, zij was net 3 konjak in jelle bouw man. Ik zei jou dat was echt dik. Jelle wordt er zeker waar was die man. Hij is in Dubai 2 jaar met die span. Hij daar geloos voor een jonger goesman. Dus hoe kom je dat hij mij wil trekken met een plan? Nee, daar en dan kom ik bij mijn senses. Ik wijs haar aan die neem cool af. Wie loopt mijn skirt naast klop die jacht. En zei dat je kan get. Nou, ze wist mij niet over. Laat dat ik zoeken. Benten, ja, Benten. Die anti zoeken Benten. Zij zoeken Benten. Die anti zoeken Benten. Zij zoeken Benten. A young OG, haar oudste dochter, zij say a young man with energy is what she needs in her life. Zij zoeken Benten. A young OG, haar oudste dochter, zij say a young man with energy is what she needs in her life.
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
this Tuesday is already off to a fantastic start. Early B doing his sound check during the sound break, and we can't wait for you to hear that a little bit later. But now let's quickly dig into our local entertainment news.
Well, it's been 3 years coming now, but the motorist convicted of causing the deaths of top billing presenter Simba Mere and his friend Katie Shea O'Brien will stay behind bars while he waits for his appeal to be heard. Now, judgment on Prashila Naidu's bail application was delivered in the Johannesburg High Court on Friday by Acting Judge Sam Akamu. The National Prosecuting Authority confirmed on Monday that Naidu's bail application had been denied. He is serving time for culpable homicide for causing the crash that led to Mere and O'Brien's death. The two had been traveling on William Nicol Drive in Johannesburg on the 31st of January 2015 when Naidu's car slammed into them on the N1 off-ramp. Mere's father Joseph was also in the car but survived the crash. Naidu had blamed mechanical failure for the accident. However, during the trial, the court heard evidence from a tracking company that the vehicle had been speeding prior to the accident. And I think a day has not gone by that we still miss him as though we just saw him yesterday. That was the spirit of Simba. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, look, it's really good to see that the law hasn't forgotten about this case and that it's taking its course and the process is unfolding as it should. It's still a very sad time, I can imagine, for the family to have to still be going through all these court appearances. But I think that it must run the process and justice must be served
at the end of the day.
accordingly.
Yeah.
Well, that was our local entertainment news. We'll have a little bit later more from what's happening in the international scene. But let's get to know our performer a little bit better.
Alrighty, it's that time of the morning where we get to know our guest artist. And guess who's in the house? None other than Early B, ladies and gentlemen! Deserving of an ancestral ululation. They say if the early bird catches the fat worm, then the early bee catches the fat beats. What's up?
Hey, I'm good and self.
It's so good to have you here, dude.
It's good to be here, man.
Amazing.
Yes, like
I've been looking forward to having you on the show, performing way back. Since my barber showed me your first video that went big. We'll talk about it just now, but we're going to get to know you first over 60 seconds, rapid fire questions.
Okay.
You answer with the first thing that comes to your mind.
No
Are you
stress.
ready?
No stress, let's go.
Start the clock. What do you prefer? Salty or sweet?
Sweet.
Favorite local rapper?
Youngster.
Camping outdoors or luxury hotel?
Luxury.
If you had money, would you buy a sports car or a yacht?
Yacht, my bro.
If you could perform anywhere in the world?
Amsterdam.
Your favorite series?
Flip. My bro, power.
An hour at the gym or long run?
Hour at the gym.
Early mornings or late nights?
No, late nights.
Favorite braai food?
For braai broodjies.
Favorite place to take on a date?
Picnic of iets.
Live sports or a good movie?
Live sports.
If you could visit any place in Africa?
Any place.
Any place.
Bloemendal.
What's your guilty pleasure musically?
My guilty pleasure?
Yeah.
I listen to something the whole time until I get the whole song right.
Okay. Bruce Willis or Tom Cruise?
Bruce Willis.
Would you rather live in the city or the suburbs?
The suburbs.
Suburbs like Bloemendal.
Verstaan je? Yeah, that just popped up.
Oh man. I'm sure you just get. Talk to me about that. What does that mean when you refer to someone or the term "funny dalaf meisie"?
It's just to remind everybody that I come from Bloemendal. It's my suburb where I stay, and it's also to keep me grounded, man. So as soon as you feel like it's about to get big now, you just say "funny dalaf." It's like you remember where you came from.
Okay,
know
so
your roots,
it grounds you. All right, man. But I mean, we obviously know that you're a very passionate musician. You're an extraordinarily talented rapper who does so in beautiful Afrikaans in your own kind of way. Do you feel like your kind of style of Afrikaans rapping is well represented enough in the market? Or are you trying to break new ground out there?
Yeah, I think so, because I'm from PE. You never heard so many rappers from PE doing it. So my slang is different and the way I rap is also different. So I think I'm breaking as well.
Yeah.
And ik denk is goed voor die markt, man.
It is. It really is. And one thing I've always wondered, I mean, right now, your video of Lekker J, it must be like on near what? How many views?
Almost a million now.
Almost a million views. Self-produced.
Yeah, everything self. Everything. From Kimberlin, Ons het haar self gekry.
Ja, ja.
En then
Is sy van die Dalle?
Sy was van die Dal,
Ja.
maar sy het getrek. Sy is eintlik in die Kaap. Hallo Kimberley.
I mean, we're looking at this right now. Dude, I watched this over and over. I think I must have contributed at least 100 clicks.
Wow,
on
I appreciate
video.
that.
Love it.
Thanks,
Tell me,
thanks.
is this a true story? Did this actually happen to you?
Not exactly the same way it happened in the song, you understand? But there was a situation like this. So we just restructured it. And you know, you have to exaggerate just a little bit, man, you understand? And that's what I did. But I do love 2-minute noodles. I thought I had to put it. Nah, really, chicken flavor, cat, yo, is the best.
And did she actually say to you,
Lekker
Jay?
Jy is lekker Jay. That's what she said. Jy is lekker Jay.
What a time to be alive.
What a time.
Dude, I can't wait to hear your new music because, of course, your debut album is now out. Congratulations on that.
Thank
We'll
you
talk
so
more
much.
about that
Thank
a
you
bit
so
later on. So make sure you do not miss out. Live performance coming your way from Early B. He's in the studio, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, looking forward to that performance. We heard him sound check, absolutely phenomenal, so stick around. Now, it might still be only the start of the day, but it's never too early to talk about managing stress. Now, every South African faces some form of stress on a daily basis, be it work, family challenges, relationship drama, or even just doing the daily commute, which can be very stressful. And in fact, in 2016, a Bloomberg study declared South Africa the second most stressed out nation in the world. Now, that is something to take note of. Now, looking, of course, very relaxed this morning and very suave, Dr. Darren Green, who I'm sure is no stranger to the world of stress. How are you, Dr. Darren Green?
I'm great, my buddy.
Hey,
morning,
always
morning.
looking good, looking calm, looking relaxed.
Yes,
But
yes.
is that just a facade that you're putting up? This is what I want to know. On a scale of 1 to 10, how stressful is it to be Expresso's favorite doctor?
Well, that has its own stress, I think, every week. But, you know, it
The early
also
mornings,
it also gives you a bit of endorphin release and a rush. So that's also quite positive.
Which is good. So
On the
balance it
other
out,
side,
eh? Okay, okay. But we talk about stress. I mean, regardless, on a more serious note, it's around us. This is a very scary fact that in 2016, I hope it's improved from now, that we're the most stressed out nation in the world. But yeah, good and bad stress. Why is it important that we manage stress?
Yeah, I think people don't realize that in order for us to reach our full potential and brain performance levels, we need certainly to tap in to our reserves. Stress is great. It helps you actually to get moving and helps you to get off your butt and to start doing things.
Yeah.
The problem is chronic stress, and how to manage that's where the health risks then come in and lead to obviously dire consequences.
Exactly. So the first thing you're going to tell me is to relax, I guess, I
Indeed,
suppose.
I think we all need to relax a little bit and get perspective. When you're in the crisis and in the motion, it's very difficult to actually do anything productive. So, you know, right at the top of the list is understanding things like hacks in terms of how can you relax.
Okay.
So techniques like meditation, we've all heard of. Deep breathing activates the parasympathetic, the relaxation system in your body as well. And obviously things like yoga, which improves breathing as well as mobility in terms of stretching your muscles, in terms of flexing the spine and mobility. And selective focused attention actually centers you quite a lot so that you can actually get a more balanced perspective of your problems.
How many people actually practice those that you just preached?
Yeah, we need to do one of those three. You
Because
know?
I feel like taking a look and interacting with people on the daily, not a lot of people actually put a lot of priority on things like yoga, deep breathing, meditation.
100%. They don't see the benefits of it.
Yeah.
If you can work towards doing 15 to 20 minutes of either meditation, mindfulness, focused attention, deep breathing even.
10 deep breaths, people, that's what it takes.
Our grandparents had it right.
Yeah,
and that can make a massive difference on your rushed, focused and unfocused nature.
Exactly, which is our lifestyles. That's what it's all about
Correct.
nowadays. We're too fast. We don't have time for anything, not even
100%.
breathing. Then also, you're going to get some sleep.
We all
get
speak
some
about
rest. Whenever you stress, it's like, oh, I'm tired, and your family members, friends, just go get some sleep. You know, is that a hack?
Yeah, you need between 7 and 9 hours for those that don't know.
Epic fail.
You need and you need to know a little bit about sleep hygiene. What can you do to improve the quality of your sleep? The temperature of the room, the darkness of the room, no hectic energy drinks and stimulants, certain medication for your sinuses, for example, before sleeping time. Comfortable bed, pillow, obviously a partner that doesn't snore or have freezing feet. Those things all play a role. So, look at that. But sleep is essential for your immune system to function, to lay down new memories, and to obviously concentrate for the challenging tasks the next day. Don't look at LED screens before going to bed at night.
Ah, yes.
You know,
yes.
that really, it wakes up the neurons.
Nowadays,
it's
the new phones and things, they come out with a button that says eye comfort.
Yes, just for a bit of night mode, you know.
It cuts off, that doesn't work.
But the content of what you're reading, unfortunately, keeps the brain cells stimulated. So the email that you now must decide, do I reply to now or can it wait till the morning?
And then you start milling over that. Correct. Listen, last one, diet.
Yes.
This is where I put a lot of emphasis on stress management and lifestyle.
100%. So if you don't prepare for your day, you will fail in terms of meeting sufficient nutrition requirements. You have to learn to pack lunch boxes, whether you're a rep on the road traveling, whether you're a scholar. You can't go and stand in queues for 15 minutes at the tuck shop and then get something that's not of nutritional value. We've become aware of the fact that food is medicine, so food that doesn't cause inflammation, food that actually reduces inflammation. That picture is beautiful. It shows the oily fish like salmon, like sardines, for example, like nuts, that reduce, obviously, inflammation because of high omega-3 contents. And that's also quite important.
Exactly, like we have our Be Well here displayed as well, good source of healthy oils in there as well. So definitely looking at the diet as a way to manage your stress.
Yeah.
Balance, balance, balance. Dr. Darren Green, thank you very much. We are going to be back a little bit later on with the good doctor, but thank you very much to Dr. Darren Green this morning for all of those stress management health hacks that's brought to you by Be Well.
Some great tips from the good old doc. And the good news is he's not going anywhere. We are talking health and all things around HPV, the human papilloma virus. So if you've got a comment or a question for Dr. Darren Green, we would love to hear from you. Our lines will be open. It's 021-430-9881.
That's right. Give us a call. Also still coming up, Early B is in the house. The 2-minute noodle loving artist is going to be performing for us all throughout the show. All this after the break.
Enjoy a moment in between with McCafe. See you after the break.
No stress. Hey. 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 Jullie gaan al die song woord voor woord kennen bij die tijd van de klas hier, hoor. Ik kan niet op sound zien. Maar je gaat eens. Yeah. Yeah. Maar ik wil die dag mijn vraag gaan verzet. Die secondzie wat ik lang klaas gedrukt het. Ik rock op zoals ik rock gedrukt het. Maak maar die deur op en ze kom net binnen. Ze geef me je druk, zij blijft mij rug was. Oké, duidelijk.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's Expresso right here on SABC3. Well, it's that time of the morning for us to check out the interesting, the funny, and the random things that we just stumble across on social media this morning.
Well, who here doesn't love a massage? I think everyone
we all
loves
are here
a
for
good massage. Well, there's one kitty owner that's decided that he's going to make his little kitty cat work, and it's a portable masseuse. So take a look at the kitty cat working his magic while the owner goes about his daily business. Isn't that just sweet?
That is so cute.
And they love to use their little paws and like push
Until
your
the
neck
nails
like
come
that.
out and are like, oh wow, that's very nice.
Just really make sure you don't upset the cat while it's on your back like that, because
nails out.
won't end well.
Nails out. Well, you know what? We all need a hug every so now and then, but there's nothing better than toddler hugs.
I know.
So we have found this little video of toddlers just giving out hugs in abundance, and we're here for it. I mean,
They're
look
like
at the
Oprah.
happiness.
They're like,
Look at
Oprah, you
this.
get one. No, you get one.
Hugs.
It's a hug fest. I love it.
But I want one.
Another
Give
one.
me
Oh,
one.
And me.
You guys, we need more of this in the world, hey? We really do.
That's adorable.
Look at that.
They're like little mini Teletubbies, just like
I love
hugging
that
up the
their hugs still keep some space for the Holy Spirit as well. It's nice.
But how is
Ruler, like they would say in school, keep a 30-centimeter ruler in between.
But this one just really had me laughing, because I'm just thinking that people are constantly finding ways to entertain themselves. It's this new challenge. It's been trending on social media. Goodbye to the fluff challenge. It's time for this new challenge. People around the world are making their hands into the shape of a circle, and their dogs are sticking their little faces and noses in between. Take a look at that.
Why do they always want
Nope,
to do
open
that?
it up, Mama. Open it up.
Oh,
That
wow.
is just so cute.
Adorable.
Oh, wow.
That's like a whole head.
Yeah.
That's not just this.
I think
Where
at
do you
this point,
separate it?
I mean, look at that. At this point, we can safely say that if you've got a pet, you'll never go bored.
Never. Gotta love it. Well, that's our dose of social media craziness. We want to know from you which hashtag, video, or story has caught your attention online this morning. You can share your thoughts with us online or on our Facebook page using that official hashtag Expresso Show.
Well, well, I'll tell you once if you haven't heard yet. His name is Early B. He's on the scene. He's catching the fat beats. His brand new debut album called Aangenaam Kennis is out and available. Go out there, cop it, get it, support local artists. He's about to perform his latest single from that album called Ben 10.
1022. You know who's who. Hello, mami, cause op die TV alweer. Sorry, B. Ja, allemaal wat kijk. Die song zijn naam is Ben 10. Gaan krijgen. Ja, luister naar die story. Ja, my bro, ik wil nou die dag my bra gaan visit. Die vakantie wat ek lang klaas gedruk het. Ek rock op soos ek die klok gedruk het. Maak haar maar die deur oop en sy kom net binne. Sy gee my 'n druk, sy wryf my rug hoor. Sy sê wie wat ek het jou gemis hoor. Staan confused en ek check hoe jy nou weer die antivirus van ek is hier vir haar kind. Toe sê sy gaan goed juice kry. Stuur ek vir haar dogter 'n message. Where you Jay? Ek kry 'n reply. Stranger how you, hey I moved up to Joburg studying at UJ. My vader, hoe maak ek nou? Want die jantie lyk soos sy smaak 'n bou. Sy is lekker reg, but it's unethical. En as ek met haar kry, word ek so gelabel as 'n Benten, Benten. Die antie soek 'n Benten, sy soek 'n Benten, Benten. Die antie soek 'n Benten, sy soek 'n Benten. 'n Jong ou chick, haar oudste dogter sê sy sê 'n young man with energy is what she needs in her life. Sy soek 'n Benten. 'n Jong ou chick, haar oudste dogter sê sy sê 'n young man with energy is what she needs in her life. Check it. Die antie bring die juice toe. Sy kom sit langs my en ek move bro. Begin 'n sweat van ek check sy in die noot en die next ding voel ek net 'n hand op my skoot. Ja, was 'n man nou reg goed heated. Ek wil opstaan en sy sê stay seated. Trek my aan my oor as lekker you must feel it. En ek was so my lam sy te pressure point gesqueeze, né? Ek wys haar anti-DS mos nie reggie. Sy sê my shh, ek gaan vir niemand sê nie. Julle weet mos ek is eyster, sy was elektriek en dakkie julle bou. Ek sê jou dit was hektiek. Julle wonder seker waar was die man? Hy is in Dubai 2 jaar met die span. Hy het haar gelos vir 'n jonger goesman. Dis kom my auntie my wil tackle met 'n plan. Net daar en dan kom ek by my senses. Ek wys haar auntie nee man cool, al wie loop keer naas klomp die jakens aan that you can get. Nou sy wys my die waar. Alles nog op ek soek 'n benten, benten. Die auntie soek 'n benten, sy soek 'n benten, benten. Die auntie soek 'n benten, sy soek 'n benten. 'n Jong outie, haar oudste dogter sy sê 'n young man with energy is what she needs in her life. Sy soek 'n benten, 'n jong outie, haar oudste dogter sy sê 'n young man with energy is what she needs in her life. Yeah, ek wys haar wag hoe gee die juice aan. Die hele bou is fly 'n cool plan. Ek sê die vrou se dokter was my goose man. Dit gaan nie reg gesê maar joh, sy lyk goed man. Ek voel haar naels op my rug, ek kry goosebumps. Ek lag en ek wys hoe you moms. Ek vra haar why you wanna for the what the youth. Sy sê my sus, let me tell you some before we do some. Kykie, ek het jong getrou. My ouers was streng, ek was gehok aan nou. En toe kry ek my man to escape you know. Toe kry ek kinders toe mos ek 'n huis onder hou so. Ek het die jeugdae gehad, die my kinders is nou groot, my man het nie 'n saakie. Nou soek ek vir 'n jong jaak van die ou women's kan niks maak. Ek soek 'n benten, ja benten. Die auntie soek 'n benten, sy soek 'n benten, benten. Die auntie soek 'n benten, sy soek 'n benten. 'n Jong outie, haar oudste dogter sy sê 'n young man with energy is what she needs in her life. Sy soek 'n benten, 'n jong outie, haar oudste dogter sy sê 'n young man with energy is what she needs in her life. Sy soek 'n benten, chase.
The man is lyrically lit, giving a shout out to all the cougars there with their bentens. They're at home like, yes! It's from that album called Aangename Kennis by Early B. Make sure that you go out there and get it. In the meantime, link up with us on our social media platforms and let us know what you think of this man's music, his performance. It's absolutely lit on this Tuesday. Yeah, man. Lekker, bro.
Thank you, bro.
In the national news this morning, hailed by Deputy President David Mabuza as a watershed moment yesterday, 4 presidents of organized agriculture signed a statement of intent to develop a national strategy focusing on the transformation of the sector. The organizations are the African Farmers Association of South Africa, the National African Farmers Union of South Africa, Agri-SA, and the Transvaal Agricultural Union of South Africa. Now, they said that they have voted, or rather noted, the parliamentary process on expropriation without compensation and are all participating in the process. Energy Minister Jeff Radebe released the draft Integrated Resources Plan yesterday, which envisages gas making up to 16% of the country's energy mix by 2030. Now, it will then be the second largest source of energy. There will be no increase in the use of nuclear energy until 2030, with only 2.5% of electricity coming from nuclear power generated at Koeberg. While renewable energy sources will take center stage over the next 12 years, Radebe says there are no plans to reduce the country's reliance on coal. Now, moving further abroad, Ugandan singer turned politician Robert Kyagulanyi, better known as Bobby Wine, was released on bail yesterday after a fortnight in detention. Kyagulanyi and 33 others, including 2 fellow serving MPs, are facing treason charges in a case that has triggered an international outcry. They were arrested after stones were thrown at President Yoweri Museveni's convoy, breaking a car window as he visited the town of Arua to support the ruling party candidate during a by-election. The defendants are due in court again on Thursday. And then finally, a UN report released yesterday says top military figures in Myanmar must be investigated for genocide in Rakhine State and crimes against humanity in other areas. The report, based on hundreds of interviews, is the strongest condemnation from the UN so far of violence against Rohingya Muslims. It sharply criticizes Myanmar's de facto leader, Nobel Peace Prize laureate Aung San Suu Kyi, for failing to intervene to halt the attacks. It calls for the case to be referred to the International Criminal Court. Myanmar has so far rejected the report. Well, that was your 7 o'clock news update. Here's another look at what's happening in the world of sport with Kat.
Thank you, Leanne. Now, the Springboks' 32-19 loss to Argentina this past weekend has seen the team drop down to 7th on the latest World Rugby rankings. That was only the Boks' third loss to Argentina in 28 previous matches, but the disappointing defeat was enough to see the team replaced in 6th place by Scotland. The Boks are back in Rugby Championship action this Saturday as they face Australia in Brisbane. Meanwhile, South Africa's Kevin Anderson survived a round 1 scare at the US Open this morning as he beat American Ryan Harrison by 3 sets to 2. With Harrison leading the match by 2 sets to 1, Anderson managed to stage a fight back to see out the victory, which takes him into the second round. SA's other US Open competitor Lloyd Harris was knocked out in the first round after a 3-love loss to Gilles Simon. Moving over to cricket news, Cricket South Africa has released the fixture list for the 2018-19 domestic season, which has dates scheduled for the One Day Cup, T20 Challenge, 4-day Test Series and the pending T20 League. Now, with the unnamed T20 League expected to take place in December, the 4-day Test Series gets underway on the 26th of September as the Titans host the Dolphins. The One Day Cup gets underway in February the 8th of next year, while the T20 Challenge gets underway in April. And finally, Manchester United fell to their biggest home defeat under Jose Mourinho last night as they lost 3-0 to Tottenham Hotspur in the Premier League. With the match goalless at half-time, Spurs sprung to life in the second 45 as goals from Harry Kane and Lucas Moura maintained their unbeaten start to the season. And the Premier League is, of course, back again this weekend as Manchester United tackle Burnley, Spurs face Watford and City tackle Newcastle. And that's a roundup of the sporting headlines.
Thank you so much, Kat. Let's quickly take another look as to what's happening out on the roads. And in the Western Cape, Belleville, there has been an accident on the N1 N-bound. That's at Wingfield Interchange, blocking the right lane. So please approach there with caution. And then just a quick update on your Cape Town train lines. There's an extended travel time of 15 to 20 minutes on the Cape Flats, Simonstown, Wellington and Strand lines this morning. That's what I have for you in terms of your traffic this morning. Wherever you are in the country, if you're still heading out on the roads, please drive with care.
Don't fear the flu. Boost your immune system with Effaflu C Immune Booster by Pharmadynamics. Effective, affordable healthcare.
Just after 7 o'clock, let's quickly take a look at your weather and your temperatures. Before we do so, though, we asked you to send in some of your pictures showing us what it looks like in your parts of the country, maybe a beautiful sunrise. And our regular photographer, Louise Cherry, sent us another sunrise view from the south coast. She calls her happy place, and that looks beautiful, absolutely beautiful, magical at that as well. Thank you very much, Louise. Really appreciate that. Continue sending those pictures. We would love to give you a shout out right here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. Just post those pictures on our Facebook page, Expresso Morning Show SABC3. For in terms of your temperatures all across the country for this Tuesday, Polokwane starting off on 6 minimum, reaching a high of 22 degrees. Mbombela 9-19, Pretoria 7-22, Johannesburg 5 and a high of 20, making 7-23. Klerksdorp on a 3 minimum, reaching a high of 21. Kimberley 4-19. Bloemfontein 0 this morning with a maximum 18. Richards Bay on 11 minimum, reaching a high of 23. Pietermaritzburg 5 and a high of 20. Durban 13-22, Mthatha 4-20, East London 10 a minimum, reaching a high of 21 degrees, Cradock 1 and a high of 19, Port Elizabeth 10 and 19, George 9-18, Sutherland 1 degree minimum, staying cool with a maximum 14, Cape Town 11-16 and still some scattered showers expected, Worcester 3-18, Springbok 7-20 and Uppington 5 minimum this morning, reaching a high of 20 degrees as well. That's a wrap of your weather and your temperatures for the 7 o'clock bulletin. I'll bring you another update in half an hour's time, just after 7:30.
Well, it's time for us to head to the socials this morning. Everyone is talking about the shock defeat last night. Manchester United losing to Tottenham Spurs. I love this quote that says, "It's Tuesday and I choose not to talk about the hashtag MUNTOT. That's the hashtag that's going on right now. And of course, a lot of people saying that Jose Mourinho needs to go. But there's one that's just right down here that I just have to show you. Where is it? Come on, you're nearly there. Look at this guy. This person tweets, "When your team is doing everything in the books to ruin your evening, but you decided to create your own sunshine, you didn't come this far to waste a ticket." This guy having a nice nap with a cup nicely rested at the back of his head. Well, that's how you need to entertain yourself when your team is doing everything you don't want them to be doing.
Well, it is Medical Tuesday today, so we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, Dr. Darren Green, he's in studio with us, and we're talking all things around the human papilloma virus, HPV. So if you've got a comment or a question, give us a call. That number is 021-4309-881.
After the break, we're also going to be checking out African-style head wraps for young girls or young women suffering with cancer. That's coming through when we come back on your Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Yeah, well, yeah, there you go. Woo, woo, woo. Let's go with the trend. Oh, yeah. More on the mic, please. More on the mic. More on the mic. Yeah, yeah. Some reverb, please. Yeah. We're riding down the boulevard. Riding through the dark night with half a tank and empty heart, pretending we're in love when it's never been up. As the sirens fill the lonely air. Oh, how do we get here now, yeah. We see a storm is closing in, pretending we ain't scared, yeah. Don't say a word while we dance with the devil. You brought a fire to a world so cold. We're out of time on a highway to never. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Don't say a word while we dance with the devil. You brought a fire to a world so cold. We're out of time on a highway to never. To hold on, hold on. Down. No way that we can stop now. A quarter tank and almost gone.
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso. So it's the last Tuesday health segment of Women's Month, and today we're joined by our favorite doctor, Dr. Darren Green, to discuss an issue that will affect up to 80% of women at some point in their lives. It's called the human papilloma virus. Now, it's it's one of the most commonly sexually transmitted viruses, and it's not harmless most of the time, but it does have devastating health consequences.
And
Tell us.
Already when you hear HPV, it just sounds extraordinarily
Yeah, movie
dangerous.
soundtrack in the
yes,
background.
yes. So if you have questions, do give us a call on 021-4309-881. That's what the good doctor is here for. So let's first talk about in what cases HPV is relatively harmless.
Yeah, well, if you consider the incidence, I mean, you're looking at about probably 7 to 8 out of 10 women have HPV, and 4 out of 10 men have HPV. So that means you have the virus present. It doesn't mean that you display the clinical manifestations of it. So what is it? It's a virus that predominantly affects and presents itself with skin lesions, ideally. So everyone associates the different subtypes and certain strains with things like warts. You get butcher's warts, you get warts on your feet, you get warts on your knees, on your hands, etc. Why HPV is coming to the limelight is its association with certain very common occurring cancers, and being Women's Month, cervical cancer being right at the top of the list, and the association of having a preventable cancer in females. So certain subtypes colonize specifically those areas, specifically things like the cervix and the genital areas, and then lead to devastating effects, obviously with the change of cell structure, etc., as a pre-runner and association with cancer. The thing with the virus is over time, 10 to 20 years is what it could actually take before you actually develop cancer. Oh, wow. So that's why it's important for us to know about it, to know what we can prevent and how to go about that.
So what happens when it doesn't go away? What signs could someone look out for?
100%. So if you think about the different subtypes and where they manifest, genital warts, so you could have warts on your hands, on your feet, etc. Some of them recurring. You'll have people that have them surgically removed, and the roots obviously then just regrow. Often it lives in nerve tissue as well and can cause recurrent warts. Then obviously the association with things like oral cancers, throat cancers as well that people forget about. Everyone just focuses on cervix cancer. And then, of course, things in males, obviously penile cancer as well as anal cancer, also to be considered. Yeah. So what you'll then see are the manifestations or changes of these skin types. And in hidden places, you don't see them clinically unless you're having yourself examined and checked out. Thus, the importance of women having things like pap smears, for example, at regular intervals, so we can see changes or stress to that those epithelial cells, that specialized skin type, to see if we need to then obviously intervene or not.
Yeah, and of course a very important health issue that we're discussing with Dr. Darren Green, and you can give us a call on 021-430-9881. So once these symptoms start presenting, is it a matter of waiting until it gets to a certain point of seriousness before you address it, or immediately?
No, so in the case of cervix cancer and pap smears, for example, women should have a pap smear done initially if they decide, or at the start, even before being sexually active. Often the pap smear is done, but generally, if you are sexually active, you need a pap smear done regularly from the age of 30 as well. Women should also be having a look. Remember, the vaccinations against human papillomavirus are advised to be given from as early as 9 years old, because the efficacy of these vaccines are based on the fact that you need to give them before someone has contact with the virus. Remember, not all contact that people have with HPV is from sexual direct skin contact. Sometimes it occurs through the birth canal. When the baby's born already, they can contract the virus and carry the virus.
Wow.
All right, so we'll keep the good doctor here ready to answer your questions, and you can give us a call on this Medical Tuesday, if you will, 021-430-9881.
Well, keeping with the theme of Women's Month, the number of teenage girls being diagnosed with cancer worldwide has soared in numbers over the last few years. And among those who've decided to help these girls, these young women, through the ordeal of treatment are two leading fashion houses. They're lifting up spirits and letting these girls feel beautiful and stylish in the midst of the biggest challenge of their lives.
This August, the African Style Story team and renowned head wrap maker Amara Grace visited Baragwanath Hospital and turned the cancer ward into a catwalk.
The collaboration between African Style Story and Amara Grace came about that we decided that we really want to give back to the society. So we contacted Baragwanath Hospital to find out how we can get involved. Amara Grace especially focuses on head wraps, so it's ideal to hand it out to girls going through chemo. These head wraps that we're handing out today is unique because they're specially designed and manufactured for people going through cancer and through chemo especially. The material that we use is bamboo material, so it's hypoallergenic, it's breathable, so it's really perfect for people with sensitive skin and hair. And regarding the patterns and the designs, it's especially for this campaign and for the girls that we handed it out to today.
I think the head wraps is a wonderful initiative. We have a large number of teenage girls whom we are treating. And as we know, in the adolescent years, girls are very concerned about how do they look, the impression that they give to the outside world. And unfortunately, the diagnosis of cancer and its treatment erodes them of that confidence. They no longer feel as beautiful as they did, they lose their hair, they may have skin color changes. And this initiative, because it focuses on them, it makes them feel that they are beautiful. It gives them hope for the future, that they will be cured. So that's the first thing. The second thing, I think it raises awareness of childhood cancer. And we in South Africa are still missing many cases of childhood cancer. So I think it's not just about girls feeling good about themselves. It's many other multi-layered factors that come into it.
What motivated me to take part in this initiative with African Style Story and Amara Grace Rap is that my mom died of cancer a few years ago, a pancreatic cancer. I've seen what cancer can do. It ravages the entire family. And so when Carla came through with the whole idea of me walking Fashion Week, and then we designed a dress and we designed these wraps to Amara Grace, it was a no-brainer for me because it's something that's very close to my heart. And I think children also are very close to my heart. So when I just see them happy, it makes me happy. I really believe as people who have a platform to speak out about things, we need to take a stand about important things in our country and in society. So I hope this initiative goes further than today. And I think the more we do, the more gets done for cancer research in this country. What do I think of the head wraps? I love them. It is so easy to put on, and also it's stylish as well, and they're beautiful to have. I think the material is great. So thinking about the patients themselves, it's very soft on the skin. It's easy to put on when they're going through their chemo and radiation and those things. So I think Amara Grace did a really good job with the concept, and I'd like to see more of these kids have them on.
This campaign's name is Heads Up. We want them to always have their heads up no matter what, no matter challenge you face in life. So this is today, actually, it's a celebration day. It was amazing, it was overwhelming. The work that it's been done here, it's amazing. The girls were so happy and we couldn't be more thrilled.
The South African public can support the initiative by going onto our Facebook and Instagram handles. So for Amara Grace, it's at Amara Grace Official, and for African Style Story, it's at African Style Story.
We're going to have the head wrap plus the wrap dress that Tembisa Mdoda worked for African Style Story show at SA Fashion Week, available for purchase at Lala Lux, the online platform, and 10% will revert to cancer, so the Cancer Association of South Africa.
A little style goes a long way to letting these beautiful young ladies feel more like themselves and know that they are not walking this road alone.
All right, we're back again with Dr. Darren Green for our Tuesday health segment, and we're discussing HPV this morning. And of course, you can give us a call on 02143098881. Dr. Darren Green was giving us some stats earlier on, saying that 70% of HPV can regress without any...
Without treatment.
Without treatment, which is good news. But we'll talk about the fact that 100%. It is known to cause cancer and how this happens. And we do have a caller on the line right now. Chantal, good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you?
Very, very well. Thanks so much for your call. What is your question to the doctor?
My question is, doctor mentioned something about warts being one of the sort of repercussions of or shooting out during HPV. My 9-year-old daughter has had warts suddenly erupting from her arm and her leg. I'm wanting to know if this is cause for concern to rush it to the doctor immediately, or if there could be some other cause, or what the story is.
All right, thank you so much for that call and the question, Chantal, Dr.
And a good question. So don't freak out if you do have, lots of people do have warts. That doesn't mean you're going to develop cervical cancer in your adulthood, as I mentioned, but there is an association, obviously, of the cause of warts and the different types. There's different subtypes. There are over 140 strains of HPV.
Oh, wow.
40 of them are associated with sex.
Okay.
You understand? So they're 140 minus 40, 100 are not associated necessarily with sexual activity. And I think that's what the public need to know.
Yes.
That there's subtypes that you're born with, where you have a wart on your hand and so forth. And I think that stigma needs to be obviously busted. Yeah. So understanding that also, that certain subtype 9 and 11 are associated with warts, and generally 16 and 18 are the two that are highly covered with the vaccinations, and the two different main vaccinations that we'll talk about. But 16 and 18 being the ones associated with cervical cancer, and then you get obviously 9 and 11. And 6 and 11, which are the most common ones associated with warts. So the vaccine also does help with that. Okay. If you have the warts already, obviously they need to be managed and treated. You don't always go and cut them out. Sometimes it's so small it doesn't affect your lifestyle in any way. Yeah. And it doesn't mean that if someone touches the wart, they're contagious. Okay. Yes. So you need to understand that too.
That's good to know.
To answer Chantal's question, so no need to panic and rush
definitely
her 9-year-old to the doctor.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay.
But now, Doctor, cervical cancer is a huge risk for women. How important is a regular screening, and when should women start going?
100%. So I did mention earlier on that if you've made the decision to become sexually active, even before starting, that's when you should have your first pap smear. And then obviously, if you are sexually active from the age of 30, we recommend that you at least go for a pap smear every two to 3 years. And then obviously we need to check. Depending on the results of the pap smear, you'll be advised by the lab report and by your specialist gynae as to how long you should wait before you get the follow-up one. So basically they look specifically at the cell types at the junction between the cervix and the vaginal epithelium, and that then tells them whether that area is under stress or not. And there are many other things, not just HPV, that can cause that area to be under stress and those cells to grow at phenomenal prolific rates.
Yeah. I think just the mere mention of a cancer screening can be very intimidating for a lot of people.
100%.
So what is your advice to kind of soothe those fears and rather promote regular screening, because that's what's important?
Remember what I said earlier about the virus growing very slowly, and the effects of cancer taking 10 to 20 years to develop. You know, that's a long time. So firstly, you'd want to know if there was any risk of you developing abnormal cells in those specific areas. And the screening process is because something can be done about it. We can conquer, obviously, cervical cancer if we detect it early. Even just the pre-runner cells to the cancer, we can do something about, and you can lead a normal life. So I think that's what is comforting.
Yeah. Thank you very much for that, Dr.
That is
Darren
good
Green.
to know.
Yeah. We do welcome your calls once again on 0214309881. We'll have the doctor for one more chat after this.
Right, we're going to be taking a very quick break. Interesting topic as that. On that note, a little croissant, please, Princess.
And a coffee for me too, thank you,
that'll be lovely
Princess,
as we go into your Tuesdays. Chilly outside, man. I hope you're keeping warm as well, wherever you are. Listen, we continue that discussion about busting myths around HPV.
Exactly, and then we're chatting about a brand new book, Growing Greatness, just to motivate you on this beautiful Tuesday morning. Thank you, I'll grab this.
There we go.
Princess, you are a legend.
See you guys us now.
When you try your best, but you don't succeed.
Hot mic, woo!
When you get what you want, but not what you need. When you feel so tired, but you can't sleep. Stuck in reverse. When the tears come streaming down your face. When we lose something you can't replace, or you love someone but it goes to waste. Could it be worse? Oh, the lights will guide you home. Fix you.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. We're still hanging out with Dr. Darren Green and talking about HPV, what it is, when to detect it, that you need to vaccinate it. But also, Dr. Darren Green, the most fascinating thing for me is you keep mentioning is pap smear. I want to know the relationship between papilloma and pap smear. What is the relationship
between the two? That's a good association. So human papilloma virus is just the name of the virus, which has nothing to do with the pap smear. The pap smear, the name pap smear, comes from a specific doctor and scientist that was Papa Nicolau, and he actually designed or discovered, obviously, that we can look at what's going on with those cervical cells by doing a specific test. So, and then obviously that's quite interesting. But the papilloma, obviously referring to the virus, which looks like a big cauliflower ball, basically. That's quite important to know.
And just a reminder, our lines are open on 0214309881 for you to give us a call with any of the questions that you might have regarding HPV. So you've been mentioning a lot, Dr. Darren Green, that it can, or the appearance of symptoms can occur at a very young age. Let's talk about vaccination, especially for the little ones, and what parents can expect when they do take their children for a vaccination. How's it administered?
100%. So a lot of moms are so worried about the vaccination programs that are being rolled out by the different health departments. At the moment, it's standard in our country from the age of 9 years, which is grade 4. The vaccination program has already gone through the first phase and second phase for all girls aged 9 years old to receive it in schools. So firstly, adverse effects on giving the vaccination, there's no association, as was claimed before, with things like Guillain-Barré syndrome, for example. And like any other vaccination, there's always an area of local inflammation on the site, around the site. So depending on how it's administered and so forth, you could have a bit of a swollen area that is a bit painful afterwards. Obviously, the health benefits outweigh here the risk in this case. And that's why we advocate that you actually receive it as young as 9 years old, before you are exposed to the virus. Remember that the virus is spread by direct skin contact. It's also spread by intense relationships sexually and so forth as well. So you'd want to get it. So the CDC, for example, advocates people between the ages of 13 to 26 receiving the virus. I mean, it's not the virus, the vaccination.
The vaccination, rather,
So that's important. And I think parents need to know that, they must understand that the vaccination comprises more than one injection. It's actually 3. It's quite expensive. If you're buying it privately, it costs up to 900 Rand. There are 2 main types. The one's called Cervarix, the one's called Gardasil. What's the difference? Well, the Gardasil protects you, obviously, against 4 different subtypes, 16, 18, I think 6 and 11, whereas the Cervarix only protects you against 16 and 18, those subtypes associated particularly with cervical cancer.
Doctor, we've still got you here. One more to go, right? So if you have any questions for Dr. Darren Green, give us a call, 021-4309-881. He's here to answer any of your questions.
In the national news this morning, hailed by Deputy President David Mabuza as a watershed moment yesterday, 4 presidents of organized agriculture signed a statement of intent to develop a national strategy focusing on the transformation of the sector. Energy Minister Jeff Radebe released the draft Integrated Resources Plan yesterday, which envisages gas making up to 16% of the country's energy mix by 2030. It will then be the 2nd largest source of energy. On the international front, Ugandan singer turned politician Robert Kyagulanyi, better known as Bobby Wine, was released on bail yesterday after a fortnight in detention. Kyagulanyi and 33 others, including 2 fellow serving MPs, are facing treason charges in a case that has triggered international outcry. And then finally, a UN report released yesterday says that top military figures in Myanmar must be investigated for genocide in the Rakhine State and crimes against humanity in other areas. The report, based on hundreds of interviews, is the strongest condemnation from the UN so far of violence against Rohingya Muslims. Well, that was your 7:30 news update. Here's another look at what's happening in the world of sport with Kat.
Well, the Springboks 32-19 loss to Argentina this past weekend has seen the team drop down to 7th on the latest World Rugby rankings. Meanwhile, South Africa's Kevin Anderson has survived a round 1 scare at the US Open this morning as he beat American Ryan Harrison by 3 sets to 2. Moving over to cricket, now Cricket South Africa has released the fixture list for the 2018-19 domestic season, which has dates scheduled for the One Day Cup, T20 Challenge, 4-day Test Series and the pending T20 League. And finally, Manchester United fell to their biggest home defeat under Jose Mourinho last night as they lost 3-0 to Tottenham Hotspur in the Premier League. That's a roundup at the half an hour. We'll have another update for you at the top of the hour.
Let's quickly take another look as to what's happening out on the roads for your Tuesday morning. Starting in Gauteng Fairlands, there's congestion building on the N1 that's northbound between 14th Avenue and Rivonia Road. There's an average speed of around 30 kilometers per hour and a 23-minute delay. And then in the Highveld, traffic is slow moving on the N1 southbound. That's between the Brockfontein interchange and a new road with an average speed of around 30 kilometers per hour. Just be patient on those routes. And if you are still heading out on the routes, please drive with care, increase your following distances, and make sure to switch on your headlights at all times.
More than a club, more than an appliance brand. Defy.
Right now, just before we get into your temperatures for your Tuesday morning, DeAndre sent us a picture. We've asked for those sunrise pictures, and a beautiful sunrise from DeAndre all the way from Bloemfontein. Look at that this morning. Absolutely stunning. Thank you very much, DeAndre. But you can expect, of course, cool conditions with plenty of sunshine going forward to the maximum of 18 degrees. For the rest of the country, let's quickly take a look. Polokwane on a 6 minimum with a maximum 22. Mbombela 9-19 with some scattered showers expected. Pretoria 7-22. Johannesburg 5 minimum reaching a high of 20. Mahikeng 7-23. Klerksdorp 3-21. Kimberley 4 and a high of 19. Bloemfontein around a 0 this morning and that maximum of 18. Richards Bay 11-23. Pietermaritzburg 5-20. Durban 13-22. Mthatha on 4 minimum reaching a high of 20. East London 10-21. Cradock 1-19. Port Elizabeth 10-19. George 9 with a maximum 18 degrees. Sutherland nice and cold today, 1 minimum and a maximum of only 14. Cape Town 11-16 with still some scattered showers expected. Worcester 3 with a maximum 18 degrees. Springbok 7-20 and Uppington starting off on 5 minimum, also reaching a maximum of 20. And that's a wrap of your weather and your temperatures for the 7:30 bulletin. I'll be back with a final update just after 8.
All right, we're back again. Yes, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Still hanging out with the good doctor. It's Darren Green. We like him and we've got questions for him. Your questions have been coming through. But the first question actually I wanted to ask you just before we had to go away was, what is the cutoff date for vaccination? So when you reach 26, should you stop if you haven't gone for vaccination?
Great question. So obviously if you haven't been vaccinated and you haven't necessarily even been sexually active, you should still be vaccinated. Even if you have been exposed to the virus, HPV already, you should still be vaccinated. And why? Because remember, there are different subtypes. And you might not have the presence of the one that causes cervical cancer, but the other subtypes are associated with cancers in different places. Oral cancers, as I've mentioned, throat cancers. I've also mentioned anal cancer and penile cancer. So it begs the question, you know, you have to cover and think of the other subtypes, and then obviously the choice of vaccination would be important to cover you for the other subtypes.
Yeah. And earlier on when you did mention that the HPV virus is also present in men, I had to now start thinking about my little boy and whether I should be taking him to get vaccinated. Is it part of his vaccination schedule? Should I expect him in that
Great
little
question,
book?
Kat. So it's not a standard vaccination for males or for boys in South Africa yet. In terms of the world, Australia have started vaccinating their boys already, in view of the fact that boys also have. Remember what I said earlier on, is that 70% of HPV can disappear, but you know, up to 20% obviously you can carry it for up to 2 years. So remember, just for people to understand the virus itself, but in boys, definitely the exposure's there, and also they will also need protection against the cancers that they can develop.
What are some of the myths? Because it's such a complex virus, what are some of the myths associated with it, and why aren't they true?
Yeah, so people think automatically HPV, genital warts, I'm dirty. The first thing they think is sexually transmitted, I'm promiscuous. You can have one sexual partner for your entire life and still have HPV and still develop the manifestations of HPV leading to cancer. So that's why the protection against it and also the screening processes for early detection are so vital.
All right, so let's talk about the precautions that women in particular can take, because we are focusing on women's health during Women's Month
100%.
with regards to lowering the risk of HPV infection, and any other advice that you might have, Doctor.
Thank you. I think so the vaccination, obviously, with our young girls and young women, parents need to support them, educate your children, explain to them, show them pictures of the virus, show them what the manifestations are of it if you're allowed to grow. Remember, it's slow growing from 10 to 20 years as a pre-runner to cancer and so forth. And then, of course, you as a parent should also take responsibility to be around for your children going down the line. So don't put off. I know it's easy for me to say. I'm not the one that goes for a pap smear, for example. And I know it's sometimes tough for ladies to actually work their way around that, but it's a preventable cancer, and the process takes approximately 5 minutes to actually have a pap smear done. Choose a doctor, speak to your friends about it, someone that you feel that you can trust, that you're comfortable with, and certainly read up a little bit beforehand about what the procedure entails in terms of it not being so painful, etc. But also understanding the health benefits outweigh, obviously, the discomfort and sometimes even a little bit of embarrassment for ladies.
Is there a specific type of doctor that you need to go to for this, or can you go to a normal GP?
Your normal day hospital or clinic in the government sector will have doctors, medical officers trained, and sometimes even healthcare sisters trained that can help you with this. And then in private, obviously, certain GPs do pap smears, for example. Or your gynecologist, obviously, could be your port of call if you can afford to go there straight away.
Well, Dr. Darren Green, you certainly are somebody that we're comfortable with, that we trust, that we appreciate very much every single week for your time. And thanks to you two for your calls. We'll be doing it again next week.
Well, Expresso is helping CHOC keep More Than Hope alive for young cancer patients and their families. So don't you want to please join us as we raise funds towards buying a brand new CHOC Pretoria home to support families through their cancer journey. And you can make a very quick donation to CHOC and, of course, the Childhood Cancer Foundation by using your SnapScan app.
It's really, really easy. All you need to do is install and register the SnapScan app that's on your mobile phone. You scan the CHOC PTA House QR code, then you type in the amount you wish to donate, and it really is that simple. You press the donate button, and what we'll do is the SnapScan QR code, it will be visible on your screen for the next hour, available for you to snap and help us make a difference.
And for more details, you can visit the Expresso Show website.
Every day that brave young kids and their families battle cancer, the CHOC Childhood Cancer Foundation supports them. And here at Expresso, we'd love you to help us fund their newest CHOC home in Pretoria. SnapScan makes it easy to donate. Download the app, scan the code, and donate. For more details, visit the Expresso website.
Well, do help us keep More Than Hope alive. As we take a quick break, when we come back, time for our weekly book review, and we chat to author Pepe Murray on his book, Growing Greatness.
Brilliant. Looking forward to that, man. Sounds very inspirational. And then, of course, everyone has been going on about it on social media. Spring.
Oh,
it must
yes,
come.
that season.
It must come.
We're getting there, aren't we?
We're getting there. We're getting there, yeah.
But
But we're going to insta-edit your style with Nick Strillitz this morning. Take a look at what you can expect from all those fashion guides this coming spring. Stick around. That and more after the break.
There's a new face on Expresso, your #1 feel-good breakfast show.
I am Tabi Somakubela, and join me with South Africa's favorite morning television family.
Wake up, shake up, and feel good with us for 3 hours of the best breakfast entertainment.
Start your day the only way with us at Expresso Morning Show, weekdays from 6 to 9 a.m. on SABC3.
The stage is yours.
And yours.
Yeah, go for it.
mind, yeah, when I see close, yeah. Tears stream down your face when you lose something you cannot replace. Tears stream down your face, and tears stream down your face. I promise you I will learn from my mistakes. Tears stream down your face, and lights will guide you home and ignite your bones, and I will try to fix you.
What we just did now, you have a bit more of the backing of that. I don't know if we're going to feed. It sounds like it's very hard to. But just to get a bit more of that wow. Yeah? How much time do we have? 15 seconds. We have one more.
This Amagwinya and Vetkoek Day on August the 30th. Join us on Expresso to celebrate this South African classic by frying up a batch with your friends, family and colleagues. Enter the Olive Pride National Amagwinya and Vetkoek Day giveaway and tell us who you believe deserves an Olive Pride Amagwinya Day hamper. Enter on the Olive Pride Facebook and Instagram pages. Entries close at midnight on the 29th of August.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It is Expresso. It's that time of the morning for us to quickly find out what our international stars have been up to.
That's right. I mean, there's always so much happening abroad. I was just saying now that, you know, American and British celebrities seem to go through so much more than any other celebrities in the world. I mean, every week we hear a story about a celebrity that's been checked into rehab. Mel B is the latest one. She's to check into rehab in the UK after reaching crisis point. Apparently, she's come out saying that she's been diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder. She's had a really tough time. She says the last 6 months in her life have been really, really busy and really stressful. Yeah. She's lost her dad, obviously, but she's also come out of a divorce, a really messy divorce from her ex, Stephen Belafonte. So all of this is happening, and you know, her admission came after her friend Rusty claimed that her drinking had really gotten out of control and that her sexual appetite as was just like skyrocketing. It's always
crazy. You know what? You mustn't trust the gram, hey? Don't trust the gram, because just yesterday I was watching a little video that she posted of her and her daughter, and everything looked amazing. And now, rehab.
And, I mean, did she post it from rehab?
No, she posted it from some island where they were enjoying their best lives.
I suppose islands are
so deceiving.
Islands can be rehabilitated.
True story. Tough life. Wow. Well, someone else who's having a bit of a tough life is Angelina Jolie, and she is moving in a different direction amid her ongoing court battle with Brad Pitt. Now, the 43-year-old Oscar winner has parted ways with divorce attorney Laura Vassar and will now be working with Samantha Blee-Dejean. Now, Angelina decided to change counsel to Samantha Blee-Dejean of Blee & Blee, as Samantha's expertise is the protection and best interests of children, according to her spokesperson. Now, of course, they also went on to say that Angelina appreciates Laura's cooperation in transitioning the case over the past several weeks. Now, Jolie and Pitt have yet to reach a custody agreement for their children, despite reports that surfaced last week. But a source close to the proceedings told us that reports of a new custody arrangement are false, adding that Jolie and Pitt's original court-ordered agreement remains in place. So lots of back and forth, but like I hope they get it sorted out, because the children are always the ones stuck in the middle, hey?
Absolutely.
And there's a village of them.
There's
like
6.
35.
No, there's
6.
only 6.
I thought it was 35. They
6
have a lot of
versus
kids.
35.
It's only 6. Well, listen, we certainly hope they do sort everything out very, very quickly. Like you said, these things are never easy. It's always messy. It happens to them. It happens even closer to home.
Yeah.
So a lot of people do go through divorces.
Yeah, but as long as they keep the children the main focus, you know, and of course they're transitioning through this, because it can be very traumatic for a child, you know, a divorce. So as long as it gets handled amicably, that's always the best way.
That's the word I was looking for. Well, that is our international entertainment news for you right here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Well, time right now for our weekly book review, and we're joined this morning by Pepe Marais, who's the Group Chief Creative Officer at one of South Africa's leading agencies, Joe Public United, who cleaned up at the Luries, by the way. And he's also the creative inspiration to many in the marketing world. Now, he's also recently released a book called Growing Greatness, and he joins us to tell us all about it. Thank you for joining us this morning, Pepe. Great to have you here. Firstly, the first thing that struck me when I picked up the book was that seed in front, and I asked you, what kind of seed is it? I was trying to figure out whether it might be a coconut, whether it might be... What is that seed?
It's an apple seed.
An apple seed. And what's the significance thereof?
So there's a beautiful quote that you can't predict the amount of potential in the apple seed. And I've got a notion, I've got to believe people are the same, you know. We can't predict the potential within ourselves. So I thought it was better than my face on the front.
Certainly provokes the questions. Now, tell me about where life in the creative industry started off for you. I understand that you first were a newspaper delivery boy from the age of 12.
Yeah.
And where did that creative spark get taken?
Yeah. You know, at school, I always wanted to be rich. You know, so I came from little means by old South African standards.
Yeah.
And engineering was what I was aiming for, because a friend of mine's dad was an engineer and he was rich. So I didn't really discover art until the Ruth Price School of Art, where I had my book launch last night.
Yes.
And just walking into that institution and finding a latent talent within myself, I think that's where the journey really started, which was, I think it was 1988 or 89. But before that, my sister said last night, no, but you drew. But I can't remember I drew that much, you know.
Yeah. And it must have been really special going back to that stomping
It was
ground
amazing.
yesterday. It must have brought back many memories that I'm
nostalgic.
sure, that I'm sure contributed to the writing of Growing Greatness. So why did you decide to write the book?
You know, the poverty gap in South Africa is massive.
Yeah.
It's almost, you almost can't fix it. And my view is the only way to fix it is entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
So if we can inspire more entrepreneurs in our country, we could potentially contribute to fixing our economy. And the book's core intention is to inspire micro-entrepreneurs to step into working for themselves rather than for other people.
Yeah. This is a journey towards personal and business mastery, and I'm sure there are many lessons that entrepreneurs will pick up from there. What would you say is the most important one that you could highlight that might perhaps inspire a young entrepreneur watching right now to grow their own greatness?
Yeah. Purpose. So I found my life purpose 10 years ago. Yeah. It was a significant change in my life. And I was fortunate that my business partner, Gareth, bought into it and we applied it to our business.
Yeah.
And it significantly changed our business. And I think the notion to think entrepreneurship is about working for money or making money. I mean, I know it's being taught at school now as that. Start your own business to make money.
Yeah.
There's a much and a far greater significant purpose to business. And if you dare to find that, your business life will change and your own life.
That's something that's said quite frequently, and I think the pursuit for purpose is one that we are all hopefully on.
Yeah.
How would you define that journey? How do you discover your purpose?
Sure. Long story.
We could write another book about it.
I can write another book. But it's interesting. We only change as human beings when we're faced with huge crises in our life.
Yeah.
We tend to just cruise along if things go okay. And I hit a brick wall in 2006. We went bankrupt as a business. My life started falling apart. And I went on a search for meaning because it didn't make sense to my logical mind that things could go so wrong.
You've
given
done
my
everything
input.
that you
I've
could have done according
right.
to the book, even above and beyond, but still it wasn't working out.
According to the other business books.
The other business books, yes.
But according to this one. But no. And it sent me on a deep inner journey to find really what's going on in my life and to find myself. And that insight was huge, and I applied it to business, and we applied it to our business, and our business radically changed.
Yeah. If you could speak to business leaders who I'm sure will also glean great info and great knowledge from this book about inspiring their own employees to grow their own greatness, what would you say to them?
So again, it's interesting. I've become very conscious through the writing of the book that people do not come to our businesses to have this amazing life. They come to earn a salary to exist. And it means it's a grudge coming to work. So I find that just our business having a purpose, it actually attracts the right people, and people start joining our cause, and it gives them far more significance in their work life. So again, all I point to in this book is find purpose for your business.
Yeah. You are also on a book tour right now. Where can people catch you? Obviously touring the book signings.
We launched last night in Cape Town, which was amazing.
Congratulations.
Super grateful for the space and the people who contributed and came. And then on Wednesday at Exclusive Books Hyde Park in Johannesburg, we're doing a launch and a book signing. Quite nice.
Yeah.
Always wanted to be a rock star, saw you singing. Now I get to sign some books.
Excellent.
And then it's on sale at Exclusive Books at the moment, Waterfront and all over Cape Town, Joburg.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Pepe, for joining us this morning and for sharing your knowledge with us. And I hope that it certainly has inspired you to find that depth of wisdom and to perhaps find your own purpose. The book is called Growing Greatness, contains many lessons for aspiring entrepreneurs and business leaders out there. So make sure that you get a copy to inspire you on growing your very own greatness.
Well, it's time for us to talk fashion, and even though spring is a few days away, many parts of the country is not feeling it yet. Like Cape Town, it's like the middle of winter.
But there are some
There are some fashion bloggers, some of South Africa's best-known fashion bloggers that are already previewing their spring looks, and of course when the temperatures get a little bit warmer. So here with a preview of what we can look forward to is Expresso's very own fashion editor, Nick Strelitz, everybody.
Hey, ladies, my two favorite girls.
Oh.
Wow.
Well, we're the
Did you pay them? Did you pay them? Who was paid out there in the audience?
I did pay them.
Couple peeps.
I did, yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
Nick,
Nice
I'm
to
so
see you.
ready for seasons to change.
I know, look at this weather.
I'm ready for spring to come around. But Instagram is a great platform for lifestyle inspiration, especially when it comes to fashion. So what's your top picks in terms of the fashion radar to look forward to for spring style inspo?
Well, listen, I scoured my Instagram for my biggest and best fashion, beauty, lifestyle bloggers, because most of them are actually up north in the Northern Hemisphere on holiday, right? So this is actually a perfect time to get a preview straight from them. I want to talk ultraviolet. So this was the Pantone color of the year for 2018.
Oh, wow, yes.
We haven't seen it much in the first 6 months of the year. It's been mainly reds and pinks. We're finally starting to see it seep through, particularly on Insta. Q Simply Palessa, who's a former fashion editor, as we know.
Okay.
She was chilling up in London the last couple of weeks, and we see her take on ultraviolet and the lilacs to varying degrees. Wardrobe malfunction, live, but we keep going. We keep going.
Yes,
Not going to be a Janet
honey,
moment.
Don't stop.
Now listen, it's all about a statement, I think, when it comes to ultraviolet. You can see in her boots as well, and then playing with different shades of the same tone there with that beautiful tooled skirt as well.
Beautiful.
Super light. Kafilwe Mabote, who's one of our country's biggest and best known.
Please.
You loving it? So
I'm loving it.
Look at this one.
Gorgeous, eh?
So stunning.
So it's a hard color to play with. I mean, if you're going to go tonal, you really need to have the personality and the confidence to execute, which she absolutely does. I love this witchery trench that she wore to a summer preview the other day. This is much lighter, obviously, than the purple there, but there's shades that we can play with as well. Kelly Fung as well, editor-in-chief of Elle South Africa, taking to her Instagram as well. She's doing a bit of a grandpa sneaker. Lee, how do you feeling about those?
Not loving the grandpa sneaker now.
Pull it off. There are some girls I've seen on Instagram that can pull it off. I just feel like I can't.
I think you need to start small with, and that cues me in with Kylie Jenner, because this is someone who plays around with statement and ultraviolet.
Please.
So I think if anyone out there is nervous to try it with a statement, either in a boot or an accessory like a clutch or a handbag, right? Florals.
Love florals.
You say florals for spring, Nick? Groundbreaking, right? Revolutionary.
Life-changing stuff.
But listen, we're reinterpreting it for the spring season. Q Titi Ninteta, who's our travel girl boss. So we're seeing lots of florals in terracottas this season, right? So it's about bold print, but understated rich tones, right? And we're breaking it up with solids like terracotta on the top. Another favorite, Akila Haran Ali as well, also in London.
Yes.
So she's doing full boho chic head to toe. Espadrille and wicker basket, she's really going for that style.
Nice.
Do you guys like it?
Love it.
You like it? And Quenna Beloy, who's one of our country's best known and respected stylists. This is witchery as well. But look how much these terracotta hues are coming through.
Yeah. Very cool.
Someone who does it well, Miss Zoe Brown.
Yes.
I love my florals.
Okay, this came up the other day and I was like, you got this to a T. And what I love is that you balance the femininity of a floral up top with a more masculine sort of feature in the baroque in the shoe.
I got a lot of like critiques from the people saying, we don't like the shoes, but I wanted to try something different because I normally go for the girly, like you said, something different.
And it balanced it completely.
Thank you.
Very cool.
Monochrome. Now monochrome again, you're thinking, what's up? It's not typically thought of as a spring or summer aesthetic. It's quite heavy, it's quite dramatic.
Yes.
It could be a bit clinical as well, but let's see how some of our leading ladies, Sarah Lange, took to her Instagram. She was in Paris recently. Again, it's about integrating more casual pieces of monochrome. So she got the kicks, the high top kicks, and a basic tee there in the Dolce & Gabbana t-shirt.
Very nice.
So it can be a bit more casual. Ayanda Tabete in Greece.
In Greece, living
no
her
big
best
deal.
life.
This is she's playing in casual down monochrome in silhouette. So she's got the wide leg trouser, she's doing linen, it's a vest top, it's breezy, it's summer.
Ooh, yes, please.
Tumi, Miss Tumi Voster here is in tonal black head to toe.
Wow.
Again, it's much more casual because she's integrating really fun pieces like the crop top. She's playing with levels, the cape jacket, wide leg trouser. I think my biggest top tip, and we're heading to street style for monochrome, is monochrome can wash you out a bit.
Yeah.
So I would do a statement accessory in a very different color.
Okay.
Just to make, do you see what I mean? Just so it's not all one tone. That's really, really my top tip for that.
Beautiful. Well, Nick, you did the most. This is very exciting.
A lot of research.
This makes me feel so excited for print, from the ultraviolet to the florals to the monochrome.
Yeah.
Absolutely awesome. Thank you, Nick.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank
You can come back anytime.
Can I? Because I'm here tomorrow.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much. So scroll through that Insta to get your fashion style going into spring, man. I can't believe you're almost there.
I know.
But listen, while the lovely Princess is finishing up my cappuccino, thank you very much, Princess. We're going to be taking a very quick break. We're going to head to the kitchen, fit cook with some jam and cheese. You can't go wrong with some amagwinya.
Are you inviting me to your kitchen?
Bro, you're going to be in there. We're going to eat some fit cook, bro.
Fantastic. Also still coming up after the break, Katleho, my boy, is on standby. We've given you 3 options of songs to choose from. Head on over to Twitter right now. Make sure you hear or have your voice heard by voting for the song you want him to perform. And after the break, later on, he'll perform it for you.
Enjoy a moment in between with McCafe. See you after the break.
All Expresso presenters and guests fly domestically with Mango. Enjoy outstanding service, online check-in and seat selection. With the widest booking and payment options, Mango is the only airline globally to accept store charge cards as a means of payment. Fly in comfort with ergonomically efficient seats for more legroom. Aboard a fleet of new generation Boeing 737-800 aircraft. Join the presenters of Expresso and fly Mango.
Yeah. One, two.
Through all the days that eat away at every breath that I take, through all the nights I have lain alone in someone else's dream away, all the words and the truths that were spoken, that the wind has blown away. Oh, it's only you that remains with me, clear as the light of day. Oh, siesa, sizo figa we baba no mama. Oh, siesa, siya buta lo lava, siya wela la peshea, ule sondaba zimnyama. Sobega pansi, konkukuhlupeka.
We're still feeding you breakfast awesomeness on the Feel Good Breakfast Show Expresso. Coming up is the news and lots more in the final hour of the show.
Thank you so much, Tabs. In the national news this morning, hailed by Deputy President David Mabuza as a watershed moment yesterday, 4 presidents of organized agriculture signed a statement of intent to develop a national strategy focusing on the transformation of the sector. The organizations are the African Farmers Association of South Africa, the National African Farmers Union of South Africa, Agri-SA, and the Transvaal Agricultural Union of South Africa. They said that they have noted the parliamentary process on expropriation without compensation and are all participating in the process. Energy Minister Jeff Radebe released the draft Integrated Resources Plan yesterday, which envisages gas making up to 16% of the country's energy mix by 2030. It will then be the second largest source of energy. There will be no increase in the use of nuclear energy until 2030, with only 2.5% of electricity coming from nuclear power generated at Coburg. While renewable energy sources will take center stage over the next 12 years, Radebe says there are no plans to reduce the country's reliance on coal. Now moving further abroad, Ugandan singer turned politician Robert Kyagulanyi, better known as Bobby Wine, was released on bail yesterday after a fortnight in detention. He and 33 others, including 2 fellow serving MPs, are facing treason charges in a case that has triggered an international outcry. They were arrested after stones were thrown at President Yoweri Museveni's convoy, breaking a car window as he visited the town of Arua in support of the ruling party candidate during a by-election. The defendants are due in court again on Thursday. And then finally, a UN report released yesterday says top military figures in Myanmar must be investigated for genocide in the Rakhine State and crimes against humanity in other areas. The report, based on hundreds of interviews, is the strongest condemnation from the UN so far of violence against Rohingya Muslims. It sharply criticizes Myanmar's de facto leader, Nobel Peace Prize laureate Aung San Suu Kyi, for failing to intervene to halt the attacks. It calls for the case to be referred to the International Criminal Court. Myanmar has rejected the report. Well, that was your 8 o'clock news update. Here's a final look at what's happening in the world of sport with Kat.
Well, the Springboks 32-19 loss to Argentina this past weekend has seen the team drop down to 7th on the latest World Rugby rankings. Now, it was only the Boks' 3rd loss against Argentina in 28 previous matches, but the disappointing defeat was enough to see the team replaced in 6th place by Scotland. The Boks are back in Rugby Championship action this Saturday as they face Australia in Brisbane. Meanwhile, South Africa's Kevin Anderson survived a round 1 scare at the US Open this morning as he beat American Ryan Harrison by 3-2. With Harrison leading the match by 2-1, Anderson managed to stage a fight back to see out a victory, which takes him into the 2nd round. Now, SA's other US Open competitor Lloyd Harris was unfortunately knocked out in the 1st round after a 3-love loss to Gilles Simon. In cricketing news, Cricket South Africa has released the latest fixture list for the 2018-19 domestic season, which has dates scheduled for the One Day Cup, the T20 Challenge, 4-day Test Series and the pending T20 League. With the unnamed T20 League expected to take place in December, the 4-day Test Series gets underway on the 28th of September as the Titans host the Dolphins, and the One Day Cup gets going February 8th next year, while the T20 Challenge gets underway in April. And finally, Manchester United fell to their biggest defeat, home defeat under Jose Mourinho last night as they lost 3-0 to Tottenham Hotspur in the Premier League. Now, with the match goalless at half-time, Spurs sprung to life in the second 45 minutes as goals from Harry Kane and Lucas Moura maintained their unbeaten start to the season. The Premier League is back again this weekend as Manchester United tackle Burnley, Spurs face Watford and Manchester City do battle against Newcastle. And that's a wrap-up of the sporting headlines.
Thank you so much, Kat. Let's quickly take a last look now at what's happening out on the roads and in KwaZulu-Natal at Seaview. A truck has overturned, causing injury, and that's on Sydney Road near Solomon Matlanga Drive. And officials are on the scene, so if possible, please avoid this route. And then over in the Western Cape in Newlands, there's congestion on the N3, the M3 northbound. That's between Kendall Road and Newlands Avenue with an average speed of 15 kilometers per hour. Just be patient on that route as well. But in general, if you are heading heading out on the roads this morning, please drive with care, especially down in the mother city as well. The roads are wet. Right now, let's get into your weather and your temperatures for the very last time. And we've asked you to send us some of your pictures, and you've done so. We'd like to say a big thank you to Kasim Collins for your picture all the way there in Vista. Thank you very much, Kasim, and also for Louise Cherry for sending us her sunrise picture from the south coast, and also then to DeAndre for her picture all the way from Bloemfontein. Thank you very much for sharing those pictures. Always lovely to see what it looks like in your parts of the world this morning. And please continue to do so as well. Post it on our social media feeds, Expresso Morning Show SABC3, and we could be giving your picture and you a shout out right here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. For your temperatures for a very last time this morning, Polokwane on 6 minimum, reaching a high of 22. Mbombela 9-19 with some scattered showers expected. Pretoria 7-22. Johannesburg 5 and a high of 20. Mahikeng 7-23. Klerksdorp on 3 minimum this morning, reaching a high of 21. Kimberley 4-19, Bloemfontein 0 and a maximum 18 degrees. Richards Bay on 11 and your maximum a mile 23. Pietermaritzburg 5-20, Durban 13-22, Mthatha on 4 this morning, reaching a high of 20. East London 10-21, Cradock 1-19, Port Elizabeth on 10 minimum, also reaching a maximum of 19. George 9 and a maximum 18 degrees. Sutherland cold today on 1 minimum, staying cool with a maximum 14. Cape Town 11-16 and scattered showers expected for your Tuesday. Worcester 3-18, Springbok 7-20 and Uppington on 5 minimum, also reaching a maximum of 20. And that's where we leave your weather and your temperatures for your Tuesday morning.
Well, it's almost time for Tuesday Tunes, and so far this is what the poll is looking like. 20% of you out there want Ocean Drive by Duke Dumont. 22% are looking for The Crossing by Johnny Clegg. And then, of course, a whopping 59% wants Fix You by Coldplay. There is a few more minutes left, so if you want to change what this currently looks like, if you know that you want a certain song to be played, you have to go to Twitter, you have to vote, and who knows, your song could be sung at the end of the show by Kat.
In fact, it is happening right now. Tuesday Tunes with Katlego. It is about to happen. And this is the beauty of it. You get to choose which song you would love to hear. You head on over to our social media, like Leanne just revealed the results. And today we're doing things differently. We're not only getting one, we're getting 2 Tuesday Tunes. And leading the poll, it is Coldplay's Fix You.
When the tears come streaming down your face, when you lose something you can't replace, or you love someone but it goes to waste, could it be worse? Yeah. The lights will guide you home and ignite your bones, and I will try to fix you. When you're high up above or down below, when you're too in love to let it show, but if you never try, you'll never know just what you're worth. to fix you. Fix you.
It is your Tuesday Tunes on your Feel Good Breakfast Show with our very own Kat. That was absolutely fantastic. Well, listen, you can go and vote for the very last one. We still have Johnny Clegg's The Crossing and the Running, as well as that one from Duke Dumont's Ocean Drive. It's all up to you. You get to choose the playlist on your Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Wow.
Nice. Well, one more round of applause, everyone. Well done. Brilliant.
I mean, we're so lucky to have Kat, guys. He presents, he sings, he dances. I mean, every day there's something new that he does for us, and it just leaves us so wholesome. It's your Feel Good Breakfast Show. Still coming up after the break. It's Travel Tuesday, and we're going to be looking at some unique natural wonders of the world to travel to.
Ooh,
so that's
like
going to be nice to see.
Hashtag Travel Tuesday. And then we jump into the kitchen with something unique, something traditional. I think that's part of our heritage as well. Amagwinya, vet cook as well, with some apricot jam and cheese. You can't go wrong. That and more after the break.
This Amagwinya and Vetkoek Day on August the 30th. Join us on Expresso to celebrate the South African classic by frying up a batch with your friends, family and colleagues. Enter the Olive Pride National Amagwinya and Vetkoek Day giveaway and tell us who you believe deserves an Olive Pride Amagwinya Day hamper. Enter on the Olive Pride Facebook and Instagram pages. Entries close at midnight on the 29th of August.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Book flights from 499 Rand, only on travelstar.co.za.
Welcome back. This is your Feel Good Breakfast show on this hashtag Travel Tuesday, if you will. And you know that traveling is all about seeing the things that you wouldn't otherwise get to see in everyday life. So what's better than the natural wonders of the world and what they have to offer? But with so many wonders out there, you begin to wonder, how do you narrow it down to the ones that you really want to see? So as always, we consult our friends at Travelstar, who are of course celebrating their birthday week, and they've agreed to lend their travel know-how to help us figure out what the top natural wonders are and how to get there. Chief Marketing Officer Jerome Toos joins us. Very good to see you back here, sir.
Good to see you as well. Good
Happy
morning.
birthday.
Thank you very much.
Happy
12 years
birthday.
old. Can you
Yeah,
imagine?
12 years old. And it's quite a party. I'm telling you now, right now, my flap has been going off on my phone. My
Good,
app.
new subscriber. Great.
I'm in there. But let's talk about the other wonders of the world that some people might not know about, but that are certainly worth traveling to.
Yeah, so as to your point, there's so many out there, so how do you narrow it down?
Yeah.
And so I've done a bit of research on this. I try to think about some that you may actually have never heard of.
Yeah.
So one is actually quite an interesting one. It's called the Chocolate Hills, quite like the name. So the Chocolate Hills is a place in the Philippines, and actually you can see a picture right here. And so what's really interesting about this place is, so it's like a natural geological formations of hills, about 1,700 of them, across an area about 50 square kilometers.
Yeah.
And so they're covered with this sort of green grass most of the year, but in a dry season, that turns into this sort of brownish sort of chocolate color. And the scenery is absolutely spectacular. So it's literally hills of chocolate, literally endless scenes. So if you're hungry, don't go there. And so you have literally thousands of tourists from across the world coming to see that from the city of Carmen. So it's one of the center islands in the Philippines area. Absolutely stunning. And then another one, perhaps not as accessible, but a bit closer to home in Madagascar. And this is a place called the Forest of Knives. So this is a, you can actually see the picture here.
Oh my goodness.
So this place is absolutely incredible. And this was a forest of stone from the Jurassic Age. And with the rain, the torrential rain that you have in the country, in this particular part of the country, in the west of Madagascar, the stone got eroded and turned into those razor-sharp rocks that you would think is the most inhospitable place on Earth.
Exactly.
I mean, no animals would live there, no plants would grow. And yet this is almost like a gate mechanism for mankind to essentially interfere with actually the monkeys, the white monkeys, they're called the lemur.
The lemurs, yeah. King
so
Julian and his
live there. And
friends.
you actually wonder, how do they climb on the Sphinx? Because it's so sharp. So this is also one of the places I would love to see one day.
Wow.
Absolutely spectacular.
I guess it's also to keep the fusas away, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Precisely. Yeah.
Talk about some of the strangest and unique natural wonders that are out there that you've discovered.
I mean, there are so many of them, and it's hard to pick a collection, but one that I came across with, perhaps a bit harder to get to on this one, and this is in Mexico, and this is called the Caves of Crystal. Now, we all remember the scenes of Superman, in the Fortress of Solitude.
Yes.
And that reminds me a bit of that scene. So this is a recent discovery, about 18 years ago, in 2000. This was discovered in a working mine, a silver mine in the province of Chihuahua in Mexico, about 1,000 feet underground. And what's spectacular about this is that you've got these massive sort of rocks sprouting from all angles, and from the water, which is a volcanic activity underneath, makes it extremely hot. It's about 150 degrees, and the humidity is about 100% humidity.
That's crazy.
So not a sort of place I would necessarily think to go on a holiday. But nonetheless, I mean, it looks absolutely incredible.
Wow, so I'm trying to figure out what these. So these are crystals.
These are crystals, yeah.
I wonder if they have some
and they
kind
are
of
literally
mythical
as big as about 4 feet wide and about 50 feet tall. I mean, it's gigantic place. Yeah.
Sure. Okay, let's bring it back home.
Yeah.
What natural wonders do you know about back
well,
home
something
that
a
we
bit
certainly
more
need to
accessible
visit?
for us, shall we?
Yes, please.
So Mauritius, obviously a very common destination for South Africans. There's a place called the Seven Coloured Earth. And this is in the southwest of the island. So for those of you that go to Mauritius, don't just stock in a resort. Get out there, see the beauty that the island has to offer. And this is a place called Chamarel. It's actually quite a relatively small area. And what's quite unique about this is that this is a collection of sand dunes that are made of this sort of sand of different colors. So you've got yellow, red and orange and green all mixed together. And depending on the day that you go and see it, it's going to have a different sort of surreal look. And what's fascinating about this, unlike the Mountain of Knives in Madagascar, huge amount of torrential rain, never erodes the color, never erodes the actual shape of it. So really stunning place. Yeah.
Listen, I could talk to you forever about this.
Yeah.
These are the kinds of places I'd love to see because it's those once in a lifetime almost kind of moments, like seeing the aurora, for instance. So thank you so much, Jerome, for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Another amazing way to enjoy hassle-free, of course, budget-friendly getaways is with TravelStart. So visit them and check out your next destination and your next adventure at travelstart.co.za.
Book flights from 499 Rand, only on travelstart.co.za.
Well, we are continuing with that Travel Tuesday feels right here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. As we're about to play a little bit of a game with you, it's called Where in the World. And since August is Romance Awareness Month, we thought we would stick to that theme too in choosing a destination. And this morning we're doing it differently. We're not choosing a city, but rather a group of islands, and we need your help to name them.
That's right. The first clue this morning is we're looking for the name of an island group southeast of the mainland of Greece, famous for its history and its sea life.
And what's quite interesting is this group of islands hold more history and legends in its water than any other body of water in the world. It was the sea the Greek ships sailed when they set out to attack Troy.
Well, the one thing about these islands is that they're also famous for producing some of the finest feta, wine, olive oil, and fruit in the world. Definitely a place for every foodie to visit.
That's right. And the island group is made up of some 40 small islands, including some of the most famous islands like Mykonos and Santorini.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, if you think you know what it is, you better head on to our social media, #Expresso Show, and get those guesses coming through. Right?
That's right.
Olive Pride brings a touch of pride and the natural beauty of olive oil to your table. Made with love by Clover.
Right, jumping into the kitchen right now, and we've been talking about it all morning. I can't wait. It's actually here right now. Now we're gearing up towards Amagwinya Vet Cook Day, which is actually on the 30th, so it's this coming Thursday. So we're enticing your appetites a little bit. Teresa earlier with us this morning in the kitchen to make a delicious vet cook with some cheese, and we have some apricot jam using, of course, our Olive Pride, which is a blend of seed oils and some extra virgin olive oil as well. To do so, hello Teresa, good to have you. Good to have you. Look at this. We like this. We like this, and it's such a like I want to say delicacy almost on our menus because it really is. It's always their part. It's part of who we are.
Absolutely. Everyone loves it, and it's an absolute South African staple.
And you can pair it with so many different things. I mean, now we are using apricot jam and some delicious cheese. And you've got some camembert.
Amazing combination.
Camembert as well, and you can use mince. You can use so many things.
Or savoury.
So let's get into it. Let's get into it.
We're going to start by making a nachi jam to go on our vet cook.
Got it.
So we've got our fresh nachis here.
And of course, nachis in season.
Absolutely.
They're coming in season now.
Winter citrus still around, Going to add some sugar.
All right.
And a little bit of water.
Got it.
And it's super easy. Basically, you're just going to put this over a medium heat.
Yeah.
Stir it to dissolve the sugar. And let it simmer until it's nice and thick and syrupy. So that'll take about half an hour, 40 minutes.
Okay.
And then don't forget to skim the foam off as it cooks. Pop it into your sterilized jars, and that's it.
Do you just skim it with a spoon, or because I've never made jam?
Or a skimmer if you need to. It's just it makes the appearance better, and also extends the shelf life.
Oh, so you get a skimmer.
You do that.
A skimmer. I
A
don't know you get a
slotted spoon
skimmer.
if you have, but a regular spoon will do.
Okay, fantastic, fantastic. So that goes on there.
Basically the jam.
Right. Okay. So now
what we've
for
got
the
here,
vet cook.
This is our yeast dough. It's a very basic yeast dough: flour, salt, yeast, bit of warm water.
Yeah.
So you mix it up until it forms a dough. Knead it for 5 minutes, and then you leave it to prove for about 40 minutes or so.
Okay.
So you can see this one's nice and soft, and it's risen.
Do you have to knock it back down, or do you?
No, not necessarily. Not like pizza dough or bread dough.
Right.
So what I'm going to do.
Hey, look at how stringy that is. We like that.
And soft.
Can you put something in your hands to make it easy to work with?
Put flour. Yeah, it's probably a good idea.
Okay. No, I was just wondering.
So we've got our oil here that we've heated up.
Right.
Olive Pride oil.
So we have Olive Pride in there. Okay,
yes.
cool. And that's going to add a nice little flavour to it as well, being it a blend of seed oils and that extra virgin olive oil.
Pinch off your balls of dough.
All right.
Pop it in your oil.
Sorry, I'm not getting hands-on here because it seems that you've got everything under control.
Do the messy bit.
But you do it so well.
So do about 2 or 3 at a time. And cook it for about 3 or 4 minutes per side until it's nice and golden.
So it comes out looking
And it puffs
Beautiful
up.
like this. You
Doesn't
can
that
see
look
nice
good?
and soft on the inside, crunchy on the outside, just the way you like it.
That's right.
And then it's just all about assembling it.
Shall we put it together?
Let's do so. In the meanwhile, the keyword is Clover. SMS that to 33728. That's Clover. SMS your keyword to 33728. And you can find also the website or the recipe on our website at expressoshow.com.
Oh.
So here we have
Grab my
some.
hands. Right, so this is our Fed Cook.
Oh, look at
We're
that.
going to add our nachi jam.
Beautiful.
There we go. And a little bit of cheese. So you can use brie, camembert, or any kind of strong cheese works well.
Yeah.
Should we put some cheddar on there as well?
Yeah, now you
Load it up.
load it up with cheese.
How does that look?
That looks like
That's
I
a
will
mouthful.
shove that in my mouth with a cup of tea. It looks amazing.
There we go.
And it's as easy as that.
Super easy, yeah.
Awesome. Well,
That's
if
it.
we haven't shown you every bit step by step, but here's a quick look if you were wondering.
Do your family and country proud this Amagwinya Fed Cook Day and make this Clover Olive Pride Nachi Jam and Cheese Fed Cook recipe, making it easy to feed a crowd with ease. For this recipe, you'll need Clover Olive Pride, a blend of seed oils and extra virgin olive oil, cheeses of your choice, 500-gram Nachi segments, 2 cups sugar, a half a cup of water, 2 cups white bread flour, 3/4 cups lukewarm water, 2 teaspoons dry yeast, and 1 teaspoon salt. For the Fed Cook, add salt and dry yeast to your white bread flour. Add lukewarm water. Stir to combine. Knead for 5 minutes until soft but firm. Cover with a cloth and allow to rise for 30 to 40 minutes. For the jam, add nachi segments to a pan. Add sugar and water. Cook for 30 to 40 minutes. Next, it's time to add a touch of pride to a pot. Roll dough into small balls. Fry for 3 to 4 minutes per side until golden brown. Cut the Fed Cook in half. Add a few slices of cheese and top with a spoon of homemade nachi jam. Add a touch of pride and satisfy even the hungriest of eaters by dishing up generous portions of Fed Cook with a cheese of your choice and some homemade jam.
Made with love by Clover.
And there you have it. They look absolutely delicious. Remember that keyword is Clover. SMS that to 33728. Now, Amagwinya and Fed Cook, they are a unifying icon of happy memories and a shared South African identity. And as a proudly South African brand, Olive Pride wants to celebrate this iconic and well-loved treat that is enjoyed by all people across the country. Now, add a touch of, or hashtag touch of pride to your Amagwinya and Fed Cook and nominate a friend who has the best Amagwinya game, and they can win one of 30 Olive Pride hampers. Very easy. Comment on the Olive Pride Facebook post and tag the Amagwinya king or queen you have in mind and tell us why they should walk away with this particular hamper. Remember, T's and C's do apply, and you can find it on their website, clover.co.za.
Olive Pride brings a touch of pride and the natural beauty of olive oil to your table. Made with love by Clover.
Also to come on your Feel Good Breakfast Show, we're going to keep it in the kitchen because it's lit right now. And after the break, we're going to be making some vegan avo brownies. Have you ever in your life?
I've never. I'm starting to think that vegans have the most fun.
Yeah.
Well, also coming up after the break, Katleho Mabue, our own triple threat over here, will perform for us. So head on over to our social media and check out which song he's going to perform next after the break.
Okay, let's go to music. Yeah, give me preamble to second verse.
A punch-drunk man in a downtown bar takes a beating without making a sound. With swollen eyes, he sways and he smiles, 'cause no one can put him down. Inside him, a boy looks up to his father for a sign or approving eye. Oh, it's funny how those once so close are now gone. Osiesa, siyafika we baba no mama. Osiesa, Osiesa, siyabula lo mama. Siyawela la peshea, ule sontaba semia. Papa sobega panzi, go bega.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Happy birthday, a very happy birthday to you.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's Expresso right here on SABC3. Time for us to wish a few special people a happy birthday, because we know that millions of people are celebrating their birthdays all around the world.
Yeah.
But this is just our time out to mention a few special ones.
That's right. The first one is Jack Black, celebrating their birthday today. Comedy legend Jack Black, who has starred in films such as School of Rock, Kung Fu Panda, and Jumanji. Is also known for his musical talent he displays with his band Tenacious D.
Ah, gotta love
Such a funny
Tenacious
guy,
D.
this, eh?
He is very, very funny. We also would like to extend a very big happy birthday to little Bella, who is turning 3 years old, and her family have a very special message. They said she's just the cutest thing ever and an inspiration to everyone in her life. After she was diagnosed with cystic fibrosis just weeks after she was born, to a mother, father, and brother who adore her. May God bless you with many more beautiful years to come, our little fighter. We love you so much, and every day with you in our lives makes the world a better place. So big happy
birthday, Bella. We love you.
Love you indeed. Of course, if you have any more birthdays, you can let us know. We'll try and fit them in a little bit later on in the show. But happy birthday if you're celebrating yours today.
Righto, we continue those celebrations in the kitchen with something delicious. You might think they are chocolate brownies paired with Avo, but no, they are actually Avo in the chocolate brownies, making them Vigo Avo brownies, which is amazing and would leave you feel absolutely amazing about yourself. You won't feel guilty. We're using the delicious ripe Woolies Avos to create this wonderful, masterful creation with the best chef in the world, Chef Gabby. San Giorgio.
Thank you.
Esposito. You know, double barrel.
We change it.
We change it.
Yeah,
nice to see you,
it.
Gabby. But this is great. This is great. I love a different kind of option when it comes to brownie, because I love a brownie.
I love a brownie.
I really do love a brownie.
We do love a brownie.
So how do you make this a vegan-friendly option then?
So obviously, as you know, vegan is no animal products at all, which also includes honey. So we're using maple syrup today as our sweetener. So very easy to make this. You need either a blender or a food processor at home.
Okay.
All we've got here is we've got some almond milk, or you can also use soy or rice milk, whatever you can get your hands on.
Okay.
We've got our maple syrup over
Delicious,
here.
yeah, for a bit of sweetness there. Okay.
We've got some coconut sugar. You could also use something like a xylitol. Coconut sugar is quite easy to find these days.
Yeah.
And we've got ourselves some Avo.
So what does the Avo do?
So the Avo is actually what binds it together. So instead of using butter or oil in your brownies, we're using Avo instead.
Right.
And obviously really good for your skin and your hair.
Exactly. And also it's got, if you think about the nutrition value when it comes to Avo, it's got more potassium than a banana.
I know,
which is good, which is a good thing.
No, it's amazing. It's obviously your healthy fat. So actually, in terms of the brownie mix, it's really great in binding everything together.
Yeah.
And obviously in terms of health-wise, it's like a win. So all I'm gonna do now is blitz this up. Over here. Blitz this over here. Just takes a couple of seconds.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. All right, well, the keyword for this delicious Avo brownies this morning, SMS the keyword Woolworths to 33728. That's Woolworths to 33728. Vegan Avo brownies on the menu.
Here
look
we go.
at that.
So our mixture has been combined now. And now we've got our dry ingredients, which we've got some spelt flour.
Some what flour?
Spelt flour.
Spelt
so
flour.
spelt's actually an ancient grain from years ago.
Okay,
but
spelt flour.
It's
easily
really
available? Yes?
Yes, yeah, most places have it these days. Yeah, I know Woolies have it.
Okay.
Yes. And so we've got that here on most health shops. And then, yeah, we've got a pinch of salt over here.
Right.
We've got our bicarb. And we've got some chocolate chips.
Brilliant.
Or just some dark chocolate that you kind of mix up. Oh, that's another thing. If you're vegan, obviously just make sure that the dark chocolate is natural and does not contain any milk in it.
Wow.
And all we just toast together.
Well, I'll tell you what, you keep mixing that up. The keyword is Woolworths. SMS that to 33728. This is absolutely wonderful. Vegan avo brownies using these delicious avos from Woolies. A great way to get something sweet and something hearty in, even though it might be considered a sweet treat. But it's not. It's healthy for you.
Exactly.
It's good for you.
It's healthy dessert.
Here's a quick look at those steps once again. And there you have it. That is how you make vegan avo brownies. Easy as that. So look at this mixture. It's beautifully combined. Look at that rich chocolate. It looks like the real deal here, Zoe. Gabby.
So I'll take that as a compliment.
You will, yeah. Do that.
Have we seen Zoe? Yeah.
But yeah, the keyword is Woolworths. SMS that to 33728. Check it out on our website as well. Woolworths.co.za. That's the website there, and also on our website, expressoshow.com. But we would love to know if you have tried this, or if you're going to be attempting it, let us know. And yeah, we'd love to know how it turns out.
Yes.
Hey?
Love to know.
Thank you, Gabby. Check it out, woolworths.co.za, or you can also SMS that keyword Woolworths to 33728 to get your hands on the recipe.
Oh, well, listen, that looks delicious. And the good news is you're in for another treat, as it is Tuesday Tunes with Katlego that takes place every single Tuesday. Now, you are in charge of choosing which song Kat is going to sing, and the votes are in. Earlier, he sang Coldplay's Fix You, and right now, you have voted for Johnny Clegg's The Crossing.
For the legend. Paying homage to the legend. That did Johnny Clegg.
Through all the days that eat away at every breath that I take, through all the nights I have lain alone in someone else's dream awake, all the words and the truths that were spoken, that the wind has blown away. Oh, it's only you that remains with me, near as the night of day. Oh, siesa, si zofika we baba noma. Oh, siesa, siyakula lo mhlaba, siyawela la phesheya kulezo ndaba zemnyama. Lapha sobeka phansi okubuhluleka. Struck man in a downtown bar takes a beating without making a sound. Through swollen eyes he sways and he smiles, 'cause no one can put him down. And inside him a boy looks up to his father for a sign or a proving eye. Oh, it's funny how those once so close and now gone still so affect our lives. Oh, siesa, si ufika we baba noma. Oh, siesa, siyabula lo mhlaba, siyawela
dancing in studio. Kat, out of the 3 songs the viewers got to choose from, did you have a favorite?
No, I didn't. I love all of them.
Well, listen, that is how Tuesday Tunes work. You get to choose the song that Kat has to sing. And head on over to our social media to keep an eye out for that. And perhaps if you've got a song you would love to hear from him, feel free to suggest that. But we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we're going to make some Avo ice cream. That and a whole lot more still coming up.
Instant hot chocolate? Of course, it's possible with Clover Super M. When you hashtag try it hot this winter. Keeping the cast of Expresso smiling right through the chilly winter months, warmed up Super M is the simplest hot chocolate option when all you need to do is pour, heat and enjoy. So, hashtag try it hot with Clover Super M and catch the Expresso presenters putting their own twist on this cup of deliciousness made with love by Clover.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's Expresso right here on SABC3. Now, we just made vegan Avo brownies. Well, not me. I watched, and of course, we'll celebrate and enjoy it later. But what if you had some Avo left over? Well, ice cream made with avocados is absolutely delicious. Avocados are not only for guacamole, but make the perfect ingredient for a creamy, sweet treat too. Gabriella is going to show us just how simple and delicious it is to make an avocado ice cream.
Hey.
Gabriella, I never ever thought the day would come where I would eat avocado ice cream.
You'd be very surprised actually how yum it is. And it's really creamy as well, obviously due to the high fat content in avo.
Wonderful.
So it's amazing. It works very well.
So is it simple as well?
Very simple.
Because I like things that are simple and
pretty
easy
much what
to
I'll
make.
do is, could we swap sides? And what I'll do is I'll show you here.
All right.
If you could actually pop these avos for me into this in the meantime.
I could do
and
that.
And I'm just going to prep our syrup.
All right, wonderful.
So you can also just kind of use like plain sugar, but the nice thing with doing a syrup is it makes sure that it combines nicely.
I'm a huge fan of avos.
Oh, I love avos. They're so amazing. I'm so glad the price is like back to normal. Maybe avos is not full.
Decent, hey? Come on.
So what I'm going to do now is I'm basically taking the seeds out of our vanilla pods.
Alrighty.
And then we're going to take actually all the vanilla pods and just chuck it in into our bowl.
Yeah.
Well, in our pot on the stove. So I'm going to scrape out some seeds. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this straight into our pot with the zest of some lemon, as well as the juice of a lemon.
Alrighty.
I'm going to pop this in here. And this will basically reduce down when we have a ready-made syrup as well.
Alright.
So yeah, it's our juice, it's our sugar.
Delish.
There we go. And you put that all in nicely there for us. Thank you.
I'm done with my job.
Thank you. And I'm going to squeeze out our lemon. Also, if you either have a zester at home or just kind of hold your hands underneath to capture any of the pips.
Yeah.
Put that in there. Perfect. So that's going to cook for us now, and it's going to reduce down. You see, you've got some syrup there in that
We've
gold
already
bowl.
got our syrup in here.
There we go.
Keyword for this recipe, our avocado ice cream is treat. SMS that to 33728. We'll gladly send you your ingredients list and the link to the recipe, and you could be making this yourself.
There we go.
It smells amazing, so zesty and lemony. Is this going to go in here?
Yes, now that's going to be popped into there. So you can spill all that in here for me, please.
Gorgeous
Thank you.
and delicious and sticky and
Yes.
yummy.
And the nice thing with the lemons is also kind of cuts through any of the fat as well. Sometimes it doesn't feel like so rich on your palate.
Okay.
But the nice thing is we don't have to worry about using cream because the avo is already there.
Yeah.
And I'm going to pop it up with some milk. And then all we're going to do is blitz.
Wonderful.
Put on that over there. And yeah, here we go. I'm going to blitz this up quickly for us.
That'd be amazing. All right, so once we've blitzed it, there we go. Once we've blitzed it, and of course we put it, do we put it into the freezer? How long?
So if you have an ice cream churner at home,
yeah,
then all you're going to do is pop it into your churner for about 40 minutes or as per instructions.
Yeah.
If you don't have one, it's absolutely fine. An idea would just be to put it into a bowl, because we're going to put in right now.
Yeah.
And every 20 minutes, just kind of give it a whisk or stir.
Give it a stir.
The reason why you do that is to make any ice crystals that form, because that's what makes your ice cream feel a bit like icy. Then that kind of will eliminate that. So now we've got this beautiful smooth mixture.
Delicious. And of course, that keyword is treat. SMS that to 33728. We'll gladly send you the ingredients list and the link to the recipe, and you could be making this delicious avocado ice cream yourself.
And we're outside. It's actually raining right now, but we've got to bring you this because we've been hanging out with Stanley Geldenhuys a little bit earlier on this morning, South African champion with regards to calisthenics, and we've been learning a little bit more about it a little bit earlier on. Just for those people who's tuning in right now, quickly, what is calisthenics?
Calisthenics is a raw form of gymnastics. It involves a lot of grass movements, doing push-ups, doing pull-ups, and your static elements like front levers and back levers as well. Calisthenics, the name actually comes from the Greek word kalisthenos, which means the beauty of strength.
I love it. I love it. Well, I've got my hands chalked up, all right? Whether or not I'm going to use them, I don't know if I can. Give us a quick demo here. What are we doing? Because you're going to show me the 101 when it comes to calisthenics.
Right. So this is actually a more, how can I say, advanced movement. So this is called Alsit. Then we go into a plunge. Back to Alsit.
Right.
Then you can go up. And that's it.
I'm too scared to ask what are you going to make me do. But obviously when it comes to something like this, you've got to start somewhere.
You got to start
somewhere. I'm
somewhere.
not conditioned to this. I'm very tall, so obviously I don't know if that plays a role. Yeah. But if you're going to teach somebody something, where to start, how do you do that?
Right, okay, so two basic movements that I can actually show you, which you can actually learn as a beginner, is starting with your push movements, all right? So you get push-ups.
Right.
For instance, you get a normal push-up.
Right.
All right, you get a clap push-up, and then you can spice it up. There you go.
So what are you saying? I should try that?
Cool. So you're going to start with a clap push-up first.
Okay, wait.
All right?
Start here.
Yeah,
Start here.
there you go, there you go. There you go.
Okay.
That's a clap push-up.
And what now?
Right, so for the basic movement of, this is actually an explosive clap, all right? So what you can, actually do...
Wait.
Okay. I'll leave you to it. Yeah, here's what you can do. Just step forward, clap, and come down. That's it. And then there you go.
And then eventually you explode it all the way up.
Then you can just explode, and then you can clap. So that's actually, you're gonna use your legs as well. So you need to actually explode out of the movement.
All right.
Yeah.
What about this guys here?
Right. So these guys, the movement that I just showed you now, it's called the plunge.
Yeah.
All right.
The plunge.
The plunge.
The plunge.
The plunge. Coming from gymnastics, actually.
In my term would be the plunge down to the ground. Okay.
Okay. So you get the basic movement, which starts with an Alsit.
Okay.
All right. Tuck Alsit.
Right.
All right. And when you get more advanced, you can then bring your legs backwards, and you can do a tuck. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So let me try that.
So you're gonna start with L.
Let's start with the L. So
Tuck
basically
L.
there.
There you go.
Okay.
All right. So
And
that's
then?
a hold. And then once you progress, there you go. Hey.
This is tough, but I can definitely feel by doing it just for a few seconds. I mean, there's so much conditioning going on there.
Exactly.
And once again, why this type of exercise, be it body-based or body weight-based, it can build muscle.
It can, definitely.
I mean, look at the rounded shoulders on this man. Listen, dude, this is amazing. What's next for you?
Okay, so what's next for me
in terms of your career, sorry.
Is actually, I'm going away to Russia actually to represent SA, so I'm leaving with him next week. We're doing the World Championships there, so I'm competing. I'm the only athlete from South Africa representing my country.
Can they follow you on social media somewhere?
Yes, please. I am on Instagram at madstan74 on Insta, Facebook Calisthenics with Madstan, and on YouTube Madstan Official.
Madstan, check him out on social medias. Thank you very much, Stan. You really appreciate it, my brother. We wish you all the best, man. And this is interesting, man. So if you're interested, go out, give this a try, and see what you think about it. Right, we're going to be taking a very quick break. We're back with Early B up next. Stick around. Bye.
Sy roep my olie boe baby, as ook hy maat. As van die dalle man, sy sing altyd 'n leidraad. As ek kom koop, lyk dit ek wil my vry kyk diep in my oë, soos sy sing sy vry wat. Ja, voel snaak dis 'n brother. En nou as ek op 'n vras en enigiets anders, laat dit sy van as brus val brother dan. Buk sy so sy terug kyk brother, ek kyk maar weg van my net die grille. Haar tong is altyd buite lyk sy het rol op my bra, sy praat my bang met 'n dinge wat sy wys my lekker jy. Away, wat praat die kunsie met my? Ek smaak jou rooi. Ek klaar motie vir my. Ek gaan jou kry. As jy wil lekker maar by my. Ja, jy nog daai. Ja, as lekker jy. Away, wat praat die kunsie met my? Ek smaak jou rooi. No ways. Ek klaar motie vir my. Ek gaan jou kry. As jy wil lekker maar by my. Ja, jy nog daai. Nou die borak serious. Hoekom moet 'n man se channel in jou TTS? Dis nie weer een hygienic nou. Kimlen, why must you be like this? Ek sê I just want my chow, let me go you. I like a set of nuts in the oh jy. Wat gaan aan met jou? I just wanna step. Okay, let's go.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show on this Tuesday morning. It's been absolutely fantastic hanging out with Early B. Check out his latest brand new debut album. It is called Aangename Kennis and it's out and available right now. So who did you work with on the album, man?
I have Jack Barrow over there, Adam, Emo Adams, and Justin Vega.
Talk about star power.
Hey,
right
bro.
now you're about to perform the track that completely blew you out of the water. Is right now on YouTube. Check it out. It's called Lekker Day.
Ja, tjie, hey my broer man is nou in 'n predicament. Kom ek sê jou wanneer ander kan sy kimmelen. Ek like 2 minute noodles wanneer ek dit dinge kimmel te winkel. Sien jy wat kom beginnen? Sy roep my olie boe baby, as ook hy maat. As van die dalle man sy sing altyd 'n leidraad. As ek kom koop lyk dit ek wil my vry kyk diep in my oë, soos sy sing sy vry wat. Ja, ek voel snaaks dis 'n brother. En nou as ek op 'n vras en enigiets anders, laat dit sy van as brus val brother dan. Buk sy so sy terug kyk brother, ek kyk maar weg van my net die grille. Haar tong is altyd buite lyk sy het rol op my bra, sy praat my bang met 'n dinge wat sy wys as lekker jy. Away, wat praat die kunsie met my? Ek smaak jou rooi. No ways. Ek klaar motie vir my. Ek gaan jou kry. Ja, as jy wil lekker maar by my. Ja, jy nog daai. Lekker jy. Away, wat praat die kunsie met my? Ek smaak jou rooi. No ways. Ek klaar motie vir my. Ek gaan jou kry. Ja, as jy wil lekker maar by my. Ja, jy nog daai. Nou die borak serious. Hoekom moet 'n man se channel in jou TTS? This is very unhygienic now. Kimlen, why must you be like us? Ek sê I just want my chow, let me go shoot. I like a set of nuts in the oh jy. Wat gaan aan met jou? I just wanna step now. Now if you really want it, why don't you come fetch it? Ek sê Kim, hou op, ek wil eet. Kom eet my alibi, ek's gereed. Gaan aan, ek het dit hy was niks so goed in nie. Nou okay is dit, geen mens te soentjie. Ek gryp die pak, maar sy gryp my arm. Aan die arm om my niks, sy wil my vasdruk brother. Ek hou my hand op my lip om te cover. Lekker lippe soos sy uitkom vir hy soentjie brother. En sy's bly steur brother, jy moet check. Ek smaak haar islaan nie so wat maak ek. Ek krap maar toe en bras net wat ek steep. Toe hoor ek net as lekker jy, lekker jy. Away, ja, ek smaak jou rooi. No ways, ek klaar motie vir my. Ek gaan jou kry. Ja, as jy wil lekker maar by my. Ja, jy nog daai. As lekker jy. Away, wat praat die kunsie met my? Ek smaak jou rooi. No ways, ek klaar motie vir my. Ek gaan jou kry. Ja, as jy wil lekker maar by my. No way, jy nog daai. Ek loop joint toe ek voel soos 'n spykou. Want jy sê my nooit overpower soos hy nou. Ek kry my voetie langs die pad, die man like rook. Wys my kom gesame man, we gewoon kwyt koop. Ek wys hom jy, wow my bro. Moenie swak kom nie, ek sê kom my bro. Ek wys hom okay, ons van die trot my bro. Maar as ons aankom, gaan ek buite blok vir jou. Cool, ons kom maar, niemand by die counter. Hy roep my en ek check, nee, ek gooi 'n anker. Hy wil 'n skoot laat, hy sê ek ben 'n soutkap. Ek hardop en ek sê, okay, dat my gou bra. Ek druk die snaps en die lollies in my sak. 2 minute noodles in my broekie by my mag. Hy vat 'n pakkie eentjies, toe wil hy sy my pak. En all of a sudden hoor ek net ga. Hy hou die ek toe en ek stoot. Ek vra wat maak jy my bro, maak oop. Hy wys my boetie meneer blind, sê jy hoor. Toe hoor ek net lekker jy, lekker jy. Away, wat praat die kunsie met my? Ek smaak jou rooi. No ways, ek klaar motie vir my. Ek gaan jou kry. Ja, as jy wil lekker maar by my. Ja, jy nog daai. Lekker jy. die kutsie met mij. Ik smaak jou rooi. No ways, ik heb klaar emotie van mij. Ik ga jou krijgen. Ja, als even lekker maar bij mij. Ja, je nog gedijt. Als van die dal of meisje, mijn naam is Olibi. Aangename kind, let's go get yours. Cheers.
Funny Dalaf Macy representing, hey?
Oh, that was brilliant.
Dude,
that
well
was
done,
brilliant.
well done. Check out that album. Thank you very much to Early B. What a great Tuesday, man.
What a way to end off this Tuesday, man, as well, on that note.
True that. Let's talk about what's coming up tomorrow, guys.
Yeah, dude, we have the Mr. Sula Centenary T-shirt launch, which is a big one as well, as we continue celebrating as well. And we're also making in the kitchen a blooming cheese and chakalaga onion bread that is specifically just for you on the menu. It's going to be delicioso.
I'm coming to work hungry tomorrow.
Bring an appetite.
You should.
Thanks for joining us, guys. Have a wonderful Tuesday. We'll see you again bright and early tomorrow. Thanks, Early B.
Yeah.
Expresso Morning Show, made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.